end up trading some big blows and that you can overcome some negative matchups here because they need a lot of help to fight for that 4th place spot.
That's right, and CompLexity is looking to join Team Liquid on top of the standings as we're going to go straight into CompLexity versus Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm in a must-win situation. If they want to make it, or even have a chance to make it in the finals, they have to win the next 2 series.
Yeah, and they have to win them fairly decisively as well. But here's where Trinity Series really happens in that deck building process. All 9 classes represented across both teams. At the start of the match, they'll ban 2 of their opposing team's classes. They will not be available for play. Of the remaining 7, they'll choose 6 of them to bring to the table and leave 1 behind. With those 6 decks, they'll then play a last hero standing match where the first team to take 6 wins wins the set.
So far, we've seen everything hold serve for Druid and Priest bans. What will be the case? It seems like, once again, Druid and Priest, and again, nothing too surprising there. And CompLexity is going to mix it up and bring Hunter this week.
Wow.
They are choosing to self-ban their own Warrior. And Warrior's definitely had its own pocket uses all throughout the season. But this week, CompLexity says they'll put the trust in the face.
Yeah, it's some sort of mix-up here, and I like to see it because I always want to see some more Hunter coming to these series. But this is a big match for CompLexity. They were the Season 1 winners. They had a 50% game win score, but they got the edge in all of their matchups. This season, they have another chance where if they win, they're going to take another $75,000.
Well, winning $75,000 sounds pretty sweet.
Crane's going to be on Warlock and Mage. Mr. Yagut's going to be on Hunter and Rogue. And Tyler is going to be on Paladin and Shaman for this one. That new addition of Tyler seems to be working out. But there have been times in Trinity Series where he's been quite unsure of himself, not sure what to do, and pressured into a lot of situations where he feels that his teammates' input is more valuable than his at times.
Tyler's a really underrated player. The more I watch his stream, the more I understand where he's coming from. The only thing is that people peg him as a grinder because they don't feel like he has a lot of versatility. But you know what? In my opinion, in a match or in a format like Trinity Series, specialists really excel because you're able to bring out the strengths of a specific deck, and then you let your other teammates cover your weaknesses. So maybe Tyler isn't necessarily the best control-based player, or maybe, you know, Mr. Yagut's like better at specific things than Tyler or Crane, vice versa. But you don't need to be the master of all trades in a format like Trinity. In fact, specializing can really help you in certain scenarios, which help you get the small edges to win.
Indeed it can. Just saying, going to be on Mage and Rogues. Talking of specialists, Trump's going to be on Warlock and Shaman, and Eloise going to be on Paladin and Warrior. I feel like Tempo Storm has been somewhat hurt by the fact that oftentimes due to travel schedule, players have not been able to make the match. And that 2-person delegation rather than 3 has led to some indecisive game plans throughout their weeks. Instead of having that 3rd vote in order to tie break, it's left up to the pilot so very often in a discussion of what do you feel is better, what do you feel is better, and no real debate about the strongest play available.
Yeah, I've had a chance to talk to Saiyan you know, for a couple weeks now about Trinity Series, just kind of getting his thoughts too. And you know, prior to the season starting, Tempo Storm designated him as the captain originally to kind of guide the ship. He kind of has the final say in a lot of things, and it was one of the things that he wasn't necessarily comfortable trying to flex over his friends. He always wants to play with his teammates, not fight against them. And as the weeks progress, he's been getting stronger and stronger in terms of his leading with his own opinion as well. And I feel like that was definitely one of the shortcomings of Tempo Storm, because he often got outvoted in certain scenarios that would have actually won the game if they were able to spot the correct lines. And it's not to say that Eloise and Trump weren't doing a good job. They actually spotted some really good lines as well over the course of weeks and also did their share. But it's not enough. You can't just do your share and just do like the normal amount and excel in a field like this. There's so many good players and teams that you have to go above and beyond. You can't just play solidly all the time and expect more than the average result.
Yeah, and some of the stories for CompLexity are once again in that sort of 50-50 spot that we talked about. They've done very well with Paladin, but they've done very poor with Warlock. And Warlock has been a fantastic class for most other teams in the Trinity Series. You see everything else pretty close to average. But that Warlock spot, they are struggling with that deck.
Yeah. I do think Warlock is definitely one of those X factors in a lot of series. It's a class that has a lot of potential, but it's also very hard to play. Just look at the Warlock mirrors that ended up deciding a lot of the outcomes for series just a few weeks ago. And that also was one of the more skill-intensive matchups I've ever seen in Hearthstone, where you just kind of have to really make sure you're calculating all your resources and account for fatigue. When do I life tap? Because that one extra card makes all the difference of getting Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Or if you miss it, you end up getting so much deeper into fatigue and losing the race that way. And then you have people teching for it as well. That's where people argue about Rin, the new Warlock legendary that was revealed for Kobolds and Catacombs. Will that be like one of those things where in the Trinity Series Warlock mirror, you just have stuff to do, and So I want to see really good Warlock play. I want to see interesting strategies, and I want to see if CompLexity's self-ban Warrior strategy will work out for them this week.
Yeah, very bold, I'd say, but Warrior, I think, is certainly one of the weaker classes in a wide range format situation at the time. We've been seeing a lot of Quest Warrior played throughout Trinity Series, but it hasn't been quite up to par, I'd say.
Quest Warrior opening. So immediately try and snipe what CompLexity was up to, and I mean...
Most teams lead with aggressive decks because of the way that the pan-out is when you either win or lose the game. Looks a little bit more favorable for you than if you simply try to counterpick what your opponent is doing outright. So there is a big risk versus reward factor here, but I think this is one of their better matchups, I'd say.
Were they trying to catch like Warlock, perhaps? Because a lot of people have been opening Warlock, for example, or Warlock Paladin, or some of these other things.
Taunt Warrior is quite powerful versus aggressive decks when their goal is to scale throughout the game rather than flood the board and outright dominate you. Rogue doesn't have this ultimate endgame damage plan. For the most part, it's seated in a minion living and dealing a lot of damage. With as many taunts as Tempo Storm will have and as much removal as they have, that is a much more difficult thing to deliver than you would think it is.
Ooh, Serenite Chain Gang, that is spicy. This is also another thing, too, that you can see that Tempo Storm really has their ear to the ground. They threw away the quest itself.
Yeah, this matchup is about grinding out the rogue resources and relying on the natural strength of your minions to win the game afterwards. So Serenite Chain Gang makes a lot of sense in that regard. It's just 2 taunts for 1 taunt.
All right, let's listen into the teams and see what they're talking about in these early turns.
Okay, but
let's think about it.
The coin is annoying to use, though, a little bit.
Oh, you are thinking about coin action or what?
No, I'm thinking that the coin is annoying to use next turn as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, 6/6 is kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if they go, then we probably just sacrifice the deckhand and play 6/6.
Yeah, I like what you're saying.
But if they play Acolyte, what do we do?
I don't know. That's annoying either way. Like, I was thinking about Acolyte too, but that's just annoying.
We have no answer for it.
Well, we're probably just gonna have to kill it with deckhand and double trade, right? And then coin it, win.
Yeah. We didn't keep any of these cards, right? So.
Before you do, it's worth thinking about what in the world they were thinking about that turn. Maybe coin SI?
No.
I have coin, so that makes some more choices to talk about.
No, as in you don't think they would have daggered up over coin SI?
Yeah, I just don't think they're coining SI. They're just thinking about what warrior archetype that we're playing, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they were thinking about coin Van Cleef?
Coin Van Cleef is a possibility.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, they're just holding for longer.
Break on turn 1, but it's also They're not thinking about making a big ad wing, or they just want to see what archetype we're playing first.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is if they dagger onto and they don't plays for the most part.
Too soon.
Edwin?
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Alright, pretty sweet, I guess.
So there's no coin Lost Slayer.
Nope. And if we get the
Yeah,
Edwin
like-
damage, we can fish this, right?
So just Serenade again.
Yeah, just Serenade on curve. It's fine.
Looks good.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
You know, Serenade Chain Gang is a card that I underestimated, and I know you've been talking it up for a long time. So, you know, talk to me about the uses of this card, outside, of course, the obvious. Well, it has Taunt Warrior synergy. What's the purpose of putting that in versus other cards?
Well, a big thing to look at is just what our aggro deck's fighting with right now. And a lot of times it's one minion stacked very tall. And if that's the case, the smaller minions don't operate as well versus Serenade Chain Gang. And at the same time, Serenade Chain Gang represents taking 2 hits versus taking 1 hit. You know, in this situation, if this is just one big taunt, it would have gotten cleared and then Edwin would connect. In this case, it's chipping off the little minions, it's requiring extra resources from CompLexity, and while Edwin still gets through, that's because of the power of Edwin, not because of Serenade Chain Gang operating fairly poorly. I think the time that that potentially buys them is fairly massive. I mean, CompLexity now cannot activate their Vile Spine on the following turn, so maybe now a taunt absorbs that extra hit down the road. It's really just a catalyst to everything else you do in your game.
Well, Temple Storm has a lot of options, and as the game continues to develop, and they have a lot of taunts. So that's the important thing about playing the strategy without the quests. Is you need that extra card in order to guarantee that you clear the board enough times against your opponent, because you should be able to win the board. That being said, CompLexity is not playing the traditional tempo rogue that you're seeing a lot on ladder. They don't even have Prince Kelseth in their deck, or if they do, they're playing a very weird list, because I just saw them eviscerate.
Yeah,
and they're also
very strange.
They also have some of these other interesting cards, Prince Valinar, for example. You see the Lich King in their opening hand, and Lotus Assassin. So a lot of these inclusions, one-ofs or two-ofs, definitely a nice twist on things.
I am quite interested by the Prince Valinar. That card ended up being quite weak versus my initial impression of it.
So it's going to be really good.
Rogue doesn't run any 4-drops, basically. It's between Zeril and Prince Valinar is really the 2 options I've seen.
Yep.
Zeril, in my opinion, has operated better because it helps you activate combos later on.
Yep. Yeah, the other options for Miracle Rogue are like Sherazin and Violet Teacher, but you don't really put them in this deck.
Yeah,
so,
that's just not the room for him. This deck does not play 4 spells.
In what world would you just like put Chill and Yeti in your Rogue so you can fight priests?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think that Rogue has a fairly good matchup versus Priest.
It's sturdy.
But it's one of the only ones that's out there that has, I think, a good matchup versus Priest.
At what point do we go full rain at and put Mogashan and Warden in our Rogue decks? Because we have Cobalt Scalebane.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Good, you shouldn't. Let's go ahead and listen to the teams and hear how they're going to answer this big board from Rogue.
Want to clear this turn or next turn before Bowman? Well, we can brawl next turn though. But even if we skip this turn, how do we answer the 5/5 if they try to keep the 5/5 alive? I don't know.
I don't mind going Whirlwind Fishers and then just playing Acolyte.
Afterwards? Huh.
Yeah, just have the 1/3 contesting the 5/1, and then we can go something like Dirty Rat Brawl before bonus.
I want more one extra card.
Okay,
You
what's
don't
your
want
line,
one
Alois?
extra card?
What is your line?
You
I
have,
see.
you have so many cards. Your hand is full of mana. You don't need an extra.
I want more removal. Basically,
We already have the removal in Brawl. Yeah, I agree
Brawl
with
and
the Acolyte second.
here.
One drop. Huh.
Well, the question is SI7 better or Slayer?
I think Slayer gets better later.
Yeah, I still think it's SI personally.
But if he has SI7, then we give them 2 draws. If he's Slayer, we only give them 1 draw.
But the Slayer can like kill an entire taunt at some point. The 18 just deals.
Wait, I actually like Slayer way more because the SS7 dies to the weapon. Like, he can just clear the robot.
But then we don't have the Slayer though.
Yeah, but we get the... Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We go face?
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we can play with Blood Razor, right?
Yeah.
And then just play out Public Defender.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play Razor first then. Ooh, is Armorsmith better? No, right? We want to play Armorsmith next turn with the Whirlwind effect.
I think it's good this turn since we're getting the 1 armor already, and we don't need a
I
top
mean,
this
it's
turn.
one attack minion if we want to kill something with Armor Smith. I don't know. After we whirlwind.
It seems unlikely that the armor smith would die.
Sure. I don't think they have a lot of 2-drops anyway. Can we die though? Is the
So we
thing.
bump him first. I bump him this guy.
Leroy Coldblood. I think we still play Defender. We don't want to die to Leroy combo, right? We don't want to die to Leroy damage.
I bump him this guy, right?
Yes. But you're playing Defender this turn.
Yeah, alright, Defender, sure.
It's not even close, I don't think. Being at 13, you die to like Leroy double Coldblood, right? Like their hand's either damage or it's Bone Mirror, but I think if they're willing to throw out the boss spawn, it's closer to just being damage.
It's just Stalk Reaper SI, right?
Yeah, but do we SS7 face or... It's a minion.
I think face actually, because like we're gonna have to like we assume the SI sticks, right? And then the SI and the Bone Mirror goes into the 0-7. It's the dream scenario for us, right?
Well, we could also backstab an SI. I think Taku SI face is right.
Yeah.
I think that is right.
Because like if we don't get the Bone Mirror on the SI, then we Lich King on 8.
Yeah.
The bad case scenario here is they have Drake and they like hit and Drake.
So we can...
I want to play the second Fishes and another taunt. So next turn we can go Primordial Drake and trade in with 3/6 or something.
What I was thinking is just playing 2 armor smiths, the alley and the armor smith.
Yeah, I think that's fine too. We have nothing really good to swing into, right, on the Tar Creeper, and we're safe with the Armorsmith. I think it's fine. Double Armorsmith seems fine, and next turn we can go like...
If they play Bone Mirror, we have to Brawl or something then. What do you guys want?
So you want to like hit and play Primordial Drake now?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Sure, we can hit and play
Okay,
Drake.
sure,
So,
I like that. Go for it.
like they can't kill us from 7, right?
Alright, they've already used one of this.
Okay.
All right. Well, you can see Eloise spotting the line that she that was really important because CompLexity was really afraid of that Primordial Drake, and Tempestorm almost tunneled in on the fact that they had double armor smiths at that point.
I think we need to address the elephant in the room, which is the Vile Spine.
Oh yeah. What is up with Amateur Hour today from the teams?
I don't know.
And the reason why we say that is because they are so much better than that. Than just like slip with a misclick. That's like a day one error for most Hearthstone players.
The miscalculation of the Alex in the first match, like,
right.
I mean, these guys are.
That's more understandable in the sense that, like, well, there's a lot of like math and tension and pressure, and like they're trying to like set up inevitability, and you can always just miscount. That happens, but you know. That's like, oh, I was playing on my phone. Whoops, I accidentally clicked Frostbolt on my own face.
I mean, I understand how it happens. I mean, I've done that before where in
yes,
my head,
I did that yesterday,
I've already taken the step. And so I'm like, oh, well, in my head, I've already backstabbed. And then you just rip the Vile Spine out of your hand. You go,
yeah.
Oh, my gosh. My head played this faster than my hands did.
Right. But they're playing for 75,000 gold coins.
Yeah.
With dollar signs on them. Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. No way to actually confront this Lich King head-on reasonably, so Templestorm just loads up the board presence.
And did they not attack with the Primordial Drake?
They did not. CompLexity can obliterate and eviscerate.
I guess attacking is just worse. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Man, Vile Spine would be really good. Especially because they picked up the counterfeit coin, which is a cool inclusion, by the way. Because they had the turn earlier.
I personally like the SI7 agent over the Vile Spine as well.
Yes, I think everyone can agree on that.
But you get to keep a Vile Spine, so you get to kill a Primordial Drake later on. That seems good to me.
Yeah.
But they do have a lot of life to toy with here with the Obliterate. And so
yeah,
I think the CompLexity knows that Execute's not in hand right now. Let's listen to them and hear how that changes their plays.
That's why I'm asking. Could we maybe just eviscerate, like obliterate, eviscerate?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh, I can see that too.
Kind of like it.
Yeah.
Obliterate evis? Okay, I like it.
Do we head to a dagger?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
probably.
Yes.
Yeah, we should.
We need to get through. And we have time to redagger now with the coin.
I'm just thinking, like, putting Bone Mare on this, we don't
It's
get
not even
to
good.
this, and
Yeah.
we just get super punished in a lot of cases, right?
Doom Pact is not that good, I think.
Yeah, because we actually have chance to complete the quest.
Yeah, the
Plus-
question is, Ally Armor
Yeah,
Smith
so just-
Hero Power or Curator?
You're playing Curator, I think, right? Because
Yeah,
this
I want Primordial
Drake.
Drake.
Yeah, I agree. So,
Hold on. Before, well, first of all, go ahead and execute. But I want to know why you're. Oh, because you want to draw Drake. That's what you said.
Yes.
Right, we have fishes, and we also have the 5/9 now, or the 6/9 now. Right.
All right. The nice thing about playing Ally Armor Smith on this board is we're getting the attack bonus on it right now. We can play Curator next turn. Is it that important to play the Drake?
We're safe. We're pretty safe right now.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and go with the. Yeah, sure.
I think it's finally time here. And then
You know, I'm kind of scared of my internet right now, so don't want to like wait until ropey.
Okay. Just as a contingency, if you happen to disconnect, I'll log on.
Or do we want to cash in the Doom Pact?
You want to wait
Wait,
a
how
turn
many-
here.
How many? They drew two, right?
Yeah, they drew 69 guy and Drake.
Yeah.
So we really have to wait a turn. Like dagger the 0-3 and redagger. Because like we need a bigger refill after the Doom Pact to pressure right away.
Yeah, I don't think we go with the Bone Man now. I don't think it does much against Promo Drake.
No, we can't. We have to dagger the 0-3 and redagger and pass.
Yeah.
And then hope that they play something. And if they don't play something, we take 4 turn, but they get 2 armor turn. But like, we have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too soon.
Sadly, I agree.
Yeah.
and you're playing Dirty Rat because they have Leroy and they have like as the card, right?
Yeah. They can. What kind of Lich King card can that be? Death Coil? No, it's not Death Coil. I mean,
No,
we Dirty Rat first.
I think it's Impact, yeah. Let's play Dirty Rat first. Agree. Bone Mare. Interesting. We can play like Stonehill.
Did they play the Swashbuckler card yet?
Yes. The only card that they have in their hand is random is the Lich King card. Yeah, so Stonehill then?
Yeah, Stonehill.
Sure.
I think Hatchling's fine.
Yeah, I think Hatchling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
I find it pretty amusing to me that the Quest Warriors started their quest so late in the game and they're probably going to finish it.
Well, that's the nature of this matchup, too. You literally just compound your advantage by playing defensive thing after defensive thing.
Not that they need it.
Rogue is seated around connecting with a minion, and so when they have all these minions that just fight straight up, eventually Tempo Storm gets to this style of point where, of course, Primordial Drake was a big hit, Courier was a big hit, and you heard Saiyan read this as Doom Pact, but that Doom Pact is quite costly to CompLexity still, and there's a lot of gas left in Tempo Storm's hand.
Double counterfeit coin. This Karen is pretty intimidating.
He's just going to run into a brick wall again. Double taunt for Tempo Storm.
So it's still a little nerve-wracking considering that CompLexity could still have a little bit of burst. They dirty ratted the Bone Mirror, which is pretty huge, but you know, if the Leroy gets drawn and they had to wait to get past these taunts, that's when it starts getting a little bit intimidating.
Vilespine's gone too, Eviscerate's gone.
Oh, yeah, but the Vilespine's gone. And CompLexity is just drawn air.
Once you get past the early game with Rogue, all you have to do is keep defensive measures. It is very difficult for them to close when you have a low life total if you're at all stabilized on board. It quite literally takes Leroy, and Shadow Step, as you can see, has been rotated out of even a lot of the Keleseth decks, let alone the ones that don't have Keleseth at all.
Yeah.
You know, this is a matchup where Keleseth early on would have been a big benefit for CompLexity, but look at how big the Eviscerates were in this game as well.
Yeah, it's just gotten it's become kind of an honest deck actually. So you know, which is really funny to think about because most people think about the cheesy ways that Rogue can win through Shadow Steps and Keleseth, for example, or just ridiculous bursts. But this version of the Rogue that CompLexity is running just seems like a very normal mid-range tempo deck from that we saw of days of yore.
Yeah, I mean the neutral engines are quite strong right now, so being able to supplement that with Vilespine Slayer. I mean, that alone is like enough. And considering you have the super strong early game with Backstab and with Edwin Van Cleef, it makes a lot of sense that a tempo deck would be Rogue right now.
Yeah.
These are such strong turns for Tempo Storm, though. Again, you know, 13 life is plenty for them to operate right now.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think they have a full clear as well available to them.
Yeah, I am curious if they want to full clear, if they feel like maybe drawing cards or making some board progress or even some health total progress is a bigger priority right now. It's very clear your opponent is struggling to answer a 3-6. You know, maybe you do just take the clear in that time and prevent a big Bone Mare draw.
It is true. You have to look at how much is left in each other's decks. There's 8 cards remaining, so CompLexity does have a reasonable chance. Also, quest completion as well. You're 1 card away from finishing the quest, and that's when you can reasonably put a threat onto your opponents. And
that, to me, that's a reason to not clear the board right here, is that you're approaching the Sulfuros turns. And so once that happens, that's when you want to use all that rest of that removal and really start delivering damage. And here they pick up a cheap taunt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's getting a little bit too late to actually play Sulfuros in this spot, though. Maybe they just armor up. Maybe they just keep the defensive play.
Yeah, I like taking it slow.
Yeah, they're going to start swinging away. That is 8 more damage quickly on, so CompLexity now has a clock on them, and that is not a slow clock.
Yeah, you know, when I meant slow, I meant definitely taking the armor gain because you're not sure what your opponent is capable of, and the hero power doesn't really change much the state of the board anyways. It actually helps them have a 4-5 instead. Yeah,
13 to 15 I think is quite significant here, but I don't mind using the hero power. I mean, you could potentially kill them next turn.
Okay, so you actually wanted them to use the Die Insect?
I'm not sure. I have to think about that for quite a bit. My instinct tells me to throw 8 damage.
Right, because the upside of threatening 2-turn lethal. Yeah. Okay, I like that then, because then you have weapon and hero power as well, and then you can have brawl to help clear.
Okay. I mean, you heard Saiyan mention Cold Bloods throughout the listenings for Tempo Storm though, so that could just be something that's on their mind. Is what if it's like a crazy Vilespine Cold Blood turn or something weird. Let's listen to CompLexity, though. Their turns are dwindling.
Yeah, I think
isn't
that
that why
play.
I think you deckhand and you put it on deckhand. You have to go wide here, and then just like pray.
Just pray and pray.
And you probably save this play melee because like still balance plan.
Yeah, we should definitely keep this.
Just have the token left, right? Yeah, it's GG.
Yeah, it's the token 1/2.
Drake fishes. I think you swing too, since you have Blood Razor.
Yeah. Easy
then-
cap.
Yeah, we can now deal 2 damage AoE, so that's like guaranteed now. And they play both Bone Mirrors, so there's not like there's not a comeback.
Ah, interesting.
That's okay.
Yeah. I want to Blood Razor and Serenade Chicken, to be honest.
Yeah, I just hit
I mean, it's
the...
very close, but this is better. We get more taunts.
I agree. And then we just hit the 1/2 with the Blood Razor, right? Yeah.
This is safe.
Alright.
How long can this go on? How long can this go
It's actually huge if we take down the rogue.
Uh-oh.
Easy cap.
Tempostorm starts off with the victory. It's unfamiliar territory, but definitely a sight for sore eyes. As Eloise is able to take the win on behalf of the team. You know, Trump was doing a good job, I think, trying to advocate different lines, but ultimately I feel like Tempostorm were much more focused that game compared to where before. In the past, what would happen was one person would kind of suggest a line that would end up usually being the right one, and then one person would kind of deviate from that a little bit. But when this time, when they were offering a lot of ideas and whatnot, they kind of sat down, really fleshed through them, and kind of found the right thing. And of course, a lot could be chalked up to the fact that they had a pretty good scenario of draws, and then CompLexity made a pretty significant error at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder how much would the game have changed if the Valspine was not just dropped for tempo?
Well, they wanted to use the Valspine that turn anyway, so it would have been gone rather than the SI7 agent. And their idea was to deny a card draw and to be stronger against Blood Razor. My question is, how important is Valspine later on versus how important is SI later on? The earlier you get the SI7 agent down, the less likely it is your opponent has a Blood Razor until you've already seen one. So my thinking on it is save the Valspine for one of the bigger turns, say Lich King or say Primordial Drake. Those cards are very commonly found in Taunt Warrior, even just against a Curator turn for that matter. Yep. But they wouldn't have had a combo activator after that turn as well. So I see where their thinking goes, but it ended up just being the drag out the Valspine Slayer.
Well, I mean, that was just a straight up accident.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Do that, yeah.
It's just an actual mental misstep. Is what ended up happening. But if they would have held the Valspine, I think they would have been in quite good shape leading into the Primordial Drake turn.
Right, and then we even brought it up, like, man, Valspine would be pretty good right around this position there against some of the bigger threats. The Direhorn Hatchling or the Matriarch, the Primordial Drake, even just, you know, landing on the Curator.
Anything in that 8 health range. when Valspine does 8 damage effectively, that is a massive swing. And I do agree with your points. I think Tempostorm looked a lot more focused that game, and Trump trying to just make sure the team is still thinking outside the box, still look for reasons to do things, even if your instinct tells you that, or reasons to do other things in case you haven't looked at them.
Well, Tempostorm seems to be spread across the board, but they are the worst performing team so far in the league. For now, I mean, they can get 2 very convincing wins here. We're talking about like 6-2s or better, can put them right back in the conversation for being in the top 4, but they will need some fortunate outcomes. They'll need the teams that are already winning a lot to win even more, and the teams that are ahead of them basically to lose from every point on.
Right, and not only that, but they also need the decisive wins.
Right.
So it is a threefold effect that they need to happen. But this is Hearthstone, and crazier things have happened before. I mean, it seems like all year long we've been seeing crazy stories and miraculous outcomes in situations. I mean, even Summer Championships, we saw Shaman fatigue a mage deck.
Yeah, that was a That was definitely unusual. Let's go into Paladin versus Quest Warrior. The Murloc Paladin is a deck that is so strong and resilient against so many things, and you can already kind of look at Tyler deep in focus on what the opening mulligan is, and also looking pretty sharp in that leather jacket.
Yeah, he always looks sharp. I mean, look at those shoes in the background. I mean, that's a wide range of shoes.
I liked his Jaina cosplay a lot more, but I think this is a good look too.
It's like he's got as many shoes as you have jackets. I mean,
actually,
I've seen that jacket collection, by the way. It is quite enormous.
Have you? What? Oh, that's right. That's right. We hung out and you saw everything. Well, that was like not even my final form, man. I have a lot more now.
It seems like I don't even know where you get them
Here's
from.
the crazy thing. I just threw out half of my closet, too, because I don't have space for all of it. I put it in storage.
You just throw them away.
I don't throw them anymore. I put them in storage closet. Oh, I'll donate it.
Yeah, when I'm doing my clothes, I personally just light them on fire.
Which black shirt? Black shirt 1 or black shirt 19?
I'm not quite through 19 yet. Those Pima Cotton shirts last a long time. Pima Cotton changed my life, man. So comfortable.
Well, it's okay. So people who don't know, Admirable wears literally the same thing every day, which is jeans and a black T-shirt.
I know. I never have to think about it.
Which Admirable stops me and says, "Or is it a black T-shirt or a slightly darker black T-shirt?"
Except it's gone from a larger and larger shirt to a smaller and smaller. It's like reverse Jades.
Let's focus back on Hearthstone. We're not here to. This is not a men's fashion show, or should it be?
Not yet.
Not yet. At least we can wait for the live finals. CompLexity picks up the Murloc Tidecaller and the Valfin Inquisitor. Very powerful 1-2 combo.
Yeah, just the Murloc Tidecaller alone is enough to really force something from Tempo Storm.
Yeah,
it's one of the scarier minions because the loss of Fiery Warax. Once again, you see that Tempo Storm mulligan away the quest as well. I love that they understand what their matchup goals are and how to actually win them. In the aggressive matchups where you have to fight constantly, lest the threat of damage be very significant, you want to throw away quest. A lot of people just keep the quest and try to complete it on turn 1. The quest is meant to service as a pressure point against decks where you don't naturally have that. This matchup is not one of those. So if you draw it, you might as well play it. But think about against Burn Mage, for instance. At some point, you have to pressure them. So the quest makes sense to keep. Against Warlock, it's the same thing. Against aggressive decks like Murloc Paladin or against Zoo Warlock being an exception, there is argument for throwing it away, although against Zoo Warlock, I would tend to keep it.
It's just funny that how there doesn't seem to be pure aggro decks anymore. Everything seems to have a fast mid-range variation of it because of how good Bone Mirror is and
how bad 2-drops are.
How well, I mean, Penskelset is quite the hell of a 2-drop, but
yeah, the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, Paladin is an exception to that, though. I mean, the Murlocs are extremely powerful.
Yeah. Rockpool Hunter is fantastic, for example. So it's just fascinating to see, like, that's kind of the aggressive, the most aggressive deck. I remember back in my day, you know, when Hunter used to kill you on turn 5 or turn 6.
And back in my day, we played turn 2 Mad Scientist in every deck. Or Shielded Minibot, or... And I like the pressure play here. They put Tempo Storm to the test right away. This is where Taunt Warrior suffers the most, is when it's under early pressure across a range of threats. You need the payoff of Sleep with the Fishes in situations like this.
Yeah, that's where having that extra card is much more useful than having a quest in play, which you probably won't even complete by the time you die.
I agree with this drop to try to just absorb a hit or threaten card draw, but I imagine CompLexity is going to look to zoom right past this.
Yeah, that's got to sting.
Although it is quite punishing to just give Warrior this many extra cards. You know, maybe they find just enough to stave off the pressure and find a big brawl turn.
Well, you think they let the Zachlight live?
I think it's possible. I mean, you're either giving them 2 card draws or you're investing 5 damage into it. I think personally I'm taking my 5 damage.
Interesting.
Warrior doesn't. I mean, this Warrior doesn't have a ton of ways to rebuild his life total. And I've seen Purple play this matchup too. He likes to take eye for an eye and time it around that Sulfuros timing.
Yeah. He actually, every time I was playing with him in Summer Championships, he kept asking me why I didn't take eye for an eye. I'm like, well, that's just, I don't think it's good.
Yeah,
and he keeps saying, like, no, it's good if you do it like this and you play like this. Almost every scenario that Purple was talking about, he was half jokingly playing for fatigue on turn 2.
Yeah, just never, ever play like Purple. It is very dangerous. You don't try that at home. He is a professional.
He's trolling half the time, too.
But he's serious. Like, I've seen him take Eye for an Eye, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, this is going to deal 6 damage. Watch. And then he deals 6 damage. I'm like, I don't understand how he knew this. But here, Tempo Storm is under a ton of heat. And I imagine that Blood Razor is probably just going to be set, and you are hoping there's no Dental Megasaur.
Let's go ahead and listen to Tempo Storm, see how they're going to plan out this turn.
Direct.
I think the idea is better than Blood Razor. Blood Razor we lose if they have Megasaur, right? And even here we're losing most of the time if we play Blood Razor. If we have Whirlwind Blood Razor same turn, I think it's a little bit better.
So what was your suggestion?
Armor Smith, Dirty Rat. Armor Smith first, obviously, for Repentance.
Sure.
But if they don't
What are you beating here, right? Like, yeah, there's a Megasaur. You got it out of the way. Like, if we
oh my god. This is so much risk.
That's the point.
It's only Megasaur, like, War Leader doesn't do anything, right?
Oh, that's...
And the 2-3 guy, the buff health guy. That's the 2 cards.
You're pretty dead if you have that.
2-3 traded, and then I'll trade the Smith too, I guess.
What does trading?
We should probably trade with the 5-4 so that, because otherwise when they whirlwind, the 5-1 dies, and then they fishes, and that one dies again, right? Is that not true?
What about face? Does the trade do anything?
Yeah, they can just build taunt otherwise. I would trade one of them.
No, I think can I please go face? Like,
yeah,
because
sure.
like
yeah, we can go face. I think going face makes sense.
You're the boss. You have the mouse. You have the mouse, so you're the boss.
Yeah, I like
the best option is brawl.
So.
I think we're in fish or bust territory, right? So we have to slam the 6-5?
If we go Whirlwind Blood Razor and the Armor Smith soaks up the hit, we're 2 away from that. I agree. I think you're just dead if you don't make that play, right?
Yeah, so slam 6-5 and we're drawing.
Not really. Like next turn we have 2 taunts.
So if you think you can avoid 2 damage now, we're okay, or maybe it's okay actually. So we go Whirlwind first.
That's 2 out of 21 chance to get fishes, right?
Yeah.
If we get fishes, we can play it next turn.
Okay, let's do Whirlwind Blood Razor first, and then we decide the attacks, because if it's Redemption, we can just do it the other way around.
Okay.
It is Redemption. Okay, so we can Valley trade into the 1-1. Yeah, and kill the Megasaur, right?
Yeah.
So we're 1 off? No, 3 off.
2.
2 off. Yeah, the math is going really great.
So just like trade the 1-1, play Skillbane, go face.
Yeah, that's my first instinct.
That's what I would do, yeah.
I don't see anything else.
I think it's really good too. Like, it's very powerful.
Like, they should have a hard time dealing with 5-5, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
The fat dragon comes to the rescue.
It's a fat dragon.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Well, I guess we play the 2 taunts, right?
Yeah, I agree. 2 taunts.
Yeah.
What are your options?
This is Tar Creeper, Aliama Smith, and Tar Lord.
Elemental what? What was the second option?
So the Tar Creeper, Aliama Smith, and Tar Lord.
Oh, well, Tar Creeper, I imagine, right?
I think Tar Creeper is
Yeah, let's take Tar Creeper.
5-drop on turn 2.
Yeah, because we can slam play Fishers if we get it. And
I want to just play it this time. I want to just play this.
You play the natural Tar Creeper. We don't show them that we have Tar Creeper too.
But they won't know that we have another Tar Creeper too.
Yeah. I agree. Let's play the... Just play the natural one. Like, we could have Tar Lord or something from that, or Primordial Drake. You want to make them think about whether or not that's Drake as well, for later.
Man, this one's really tight. I kind of thought this would be a blowout win for CompLexity, but Templestorm's barely hanging in there.
I mean, just a lot of taunts in a row eventually gives him time to find the right card. I mean, you heard him mention Sleep with the Fishes over and over again. That is pretty much their big payoff. Without Sleep with the Fishes, this is going to be a very difficult game.
CompLexity has Stonehill Defender to maybe find a way for them to even add aggression to the board. They can pick up really powerful tempo tools like the Grime Street Protector, or you can have Tyrion Fordering, or you can even hit Stonekeeper or Sunkeeper Tarim.
Tarim's quite powerful.
Yeah, it's quite as an option as well.
Anything that messes with Tempo Storm's board is really a big pickup here. None of these, however, mess with the board at all.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Stonehill Defender comes in these tight situations, I think about its best tempo usage, like, oh, how good is Goldshire Footman? It's like, it's not really
that may do it.
It's pretty bad.
Rallying Blade is a fantastic point of pressure at this stage of the game, and that is no way to activate, no way to defend.
Can slam bail them out in any capacity here.
Sleep with the Fishes.
Sleep with the Fishes would just barely be enough. It looks like it's a 2 out of 19, so a little over 10%.
8.5. 1 at 8.5. 9.5. 1 at 9.5.
Yeah, so slightly over 10%. Death.
By choice.
Series is tied up. CompLexity able to pressure just enough to push Tempostorm's Quest Warrior, but the job has already been served, I think, by the Warrior. And CompLexity is just fighting from behind. However, I want to see where that mix-up comes in. Remember, CompLexity doesn't have their own Warrior. They decided to bring Hunter this week.
Yeah, and that's really a big staging point to look at for the Taunt Warrior. Its goal is to win the first aggressive matchup, which the first one you queue up tends to not be Murloc Paladin right now because of the way the rest of the series pans out. And then when the Murloc Paladin is queued to fight against it, you then tee up your next match, which is meant to counter that Murloc Paladin. So Tempostorm looking to go on serve here and try to snowball the match at some point.
Yep, so it's Tempostorm's choice on how they want to counter. When we come back, we'll find out what happens in game number 3 of this best of 11.
You guys seeing this?
Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.
A big thank you again to Intel for help bringing this broadcast and production together for Trinity Series Season 2, as well as our other partners, Twitch and ESL. As we go into game number 3, if you guys are just tuning in, between CompLexity and Tempostorm, a very crucial match for both of these teams. CompLexity with a win, cement themselves at 4-2, dominant position to try and sneak into the finals there, even though they are currently in 5th place there. And then we also Tempostorm, must-win situation, 1-3. 1-4. Yeah. Another loss means that 100% they are out of the league.
Yeah, and if they win here, they need quite a bit of help still. They need to win decisively to help their tiebreaker score. They need the teams at the top to continue winning, the teams in the middle to continue losing, and then hope that that tiebreaker ends up matching up right for them at the end. So still a very tall order for them to go through, but in this week, it is still possible for them to see themselves in a 4th place spot.
So ideally, they beat CompLexity, and the G2 Planet Universe Pro lose out as well.
Yeah.
And then Tempostorm would tie, and then they could have the opportunity to have the head-to-head advantage.
But it requires a lot of wins, decisive wins for them.
Yes. In the meantime, focusing on more positive stuff, CompLexity with a win will have a pretty good chance to advance to the finals where they can defend their crown. And it's funny that CompLexity is back in the same spot they were last season, where they're not convincingly beating a lot of people. Or even if they do, their game record doesn't indicate that they're dominant. They're dominant over the field compared to, say, Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see how that ends up being the case, because CompLexity seems to be winning through very marginal edges, which does kind of follow suit to how they're actually playing, right? A lot of times CompLexity would just bring standard lineups. Yeah. However, that being said, this week they decided to change it up.
Yeah, I'm curious what the changeup was for. I mean, maybe they felt like they needed that more decisive win, and so they're trying to catch somebody off guard with a bigger setup. But losing game one, I imagine, is not quite what they picture. And so how does that change the rest of their set? To me, Hunter is strongest once you've eliminated key decks from your opponent that are strong against it.
Yeah.
And so having to serve up first after the loss, I think really puts this series on a different foothold than if they'd won with the Rogue first and then immediately lost with it afterwards.
Yeah, Hunter is really good when you eliminate Druid and Priest and Rogue and Shaman and Paladin and Warrior and Mage and Warlock. But after that, then Hunter is actually in a really good spot. If you really think about it.
Yeah, so against Hunter, it's great.
Actually, Hunter is actually really good against Hunter, so you don't want to, yeah, actually key that up.
True story.
But after that,
when there's only one deck left. Real talk, though, I mean, Hunter does a great job at pressuring decks that don't fight for board very well, that try to respond to board instead.
In all honesty, it's actually pretty good against, like, Mage, for example.
It's quite good against Priest as well. I mean, Priest just has minions to fight for board.
Even, I guess, it's considered good against Priest these days.
I think that Hunter is more than even versus Priest. I think
Interesting.
Just Bear, Shark, and Animal Companion are very strong cards against that deck.
Do we put Sogoth in the Hunter deck?
No, I mean, 9 mana, come on.
Okay. I don't know. You're talking up a mean game with Sogoth Slither.
That was specifically off of a Stonehill versus Mage.
So we're putting Stonehill in our Hunter.
No, we're not.
Okay.
I was visiting back that. Dan, you're putting words in my mouth.
This is a question. Would you ever keep Blood Reaver Gul'dan against Murloc Paladin?
Not against Paladin. I think this matchup is more determined by the early board snowball than it is by the endgame scenarios. Tempo Storm needs to seize control of that board.
I agree. It's just one of those things where the Death Knight is so good that you're always thinking, like, man, I'm kind of tempted to keep it sometimes.
I am too, but I mean, not against Murloc Paladin. I'm scared against Murloc Paladin.
Yeah. It's almost like having a quest. It's just like, well, I can't really play this.
Yeah, your quest is to get 10 mana safely.
Yeah. And you're just playing with one less card.
But by the way, anytime you draw this particular quest, it's just active.
What if you had let's say you're going second and you had the coin and you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you had the ability to echo Blood Reaver Gul'dan?
I don't know. I'd probably still mulligan it, honestly.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out the corner case scenarios.
Because like Doomguard is quite powerful in this matchup. Something that CompLexity is going to do very often is either coin out a big 5-drop or play a Megasaur on turn 3 or 4. And so being able to fight back against that with a Doomguard is quite a big pressure point. So discarding Blood Reaver Gul'dan or top decking it later on, which scenario would you rather have?
Right.
And for me, I'd much rather just top deck it later on when we get into that value battle. I mean, Warlock's going to win those scenarios most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, also Warlock is a class that can definitely get to their Death Knight much easier because of the ability to life tap. So I agree. I'm just it's always worth thinking about. For sure.
You're playing the role that we often see the third player in Trinity play.
I'm the Trump of the casting desk. Oh man, let's go ahead and listen into the teams.
So we're afraid and we play Corsair this turn?
Yeah, and double trade, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Sounds good to me. Good, Elise?
Yeah. My game crashed out, so...
Okay, I'll wait.
I mean, you can just finish this turn.
Yeah, but I'll wait for you, because, there's no point in...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, make your attacks just in case your game crashes too.
Okay, sure.
I mean, this has nothing to do with the internet, I don't know.
Okay. Then we'll just think about our 1 mana turn here.
Yeah, I mean, we could be thinking about Soulfire or future turns. Yeah.
What do you keep then if you don't play it there?
Maybe 3. But I think we should just hero power this turn.
Yeah, we should hero power. It might be a 3, it might... I'm not sure if you keep Soulfire.
I wonder.
Yeah, I also think it's hero power because the protector doesn't do anything here.
Yeah, hero power.
Yeah, I mean, we could protect the hero power next turn and coin Findia. Seems like one way to play this hand. Or even better, we draw a 2-drop.
Yeah. I prefer drawing a 2-drop.
So we're playing Fledgling.
Yeah. Fledgling, I think. And then if they go Stonehill, we still have Captain Acarus to push through and get the Fledgling of Fates, right? So we put damage on the Voidwalker.
Let's see, if they play what you said?
If they play Stonehill, we go Captain and we go Acarus. And we have 4 damage on the board, and the Fledgling can still attack face next turn. So Fledgling this turn is pretty safe.
I'm just... Okay.
And we trade with the Corsair, right?
Yeah, if they did the Stonehill, then when we play the Captain and the Veteran, then it would still live. So isn't it better to put the damage on the Corsair?
I think it's better to put it on the Voidwalker, just because even at
We
one
can
health...
buff the health of Voidwalker later to play around Consecration.
Sure, you can trade with the Pirate, sure.
Okay. I think this is subtle and probably won't matter, but there are games where this will definitely matter.
Is Coin Finja good enough at this point? So like our 1-1 gets formed by the 2 1-1s. Then we have a 1-1 that can potentially clear the remainder of the Voidwalker.
I kind of think it's better to coin True Silver because it also gives maybe we can kill the Fledgling, or maybe we can block off the Fledgling from hitting our face the second time at least with the Righteous next turn. I don't know, I just think if we go Righteous hero power, they trade the Righteous, then the Fledgling goes face, right? And then we coin Fintia, the Fledgling is going face again with the, like, that's 2 adapts. I don't know how we keep that.
And then
I like it.
Coin True Silver, right?
Yep.
I hate it, but it's the only play we have.
Yeah, well, I hate it as well, but I think Finja's just too slow.
Oh, you know what? The 1-drop, it could also be another Bloodseal Corsair, the 1-drop actually. But I mean,
yeah, Veteran, right? Yeah,
Wait.
The Flappy Bird.
Okay, sure.
We want to put it on the Flappy Bird, though? I mean, the Flappy Bird is already the target of the True Silver by default. I think we will end up putting it on the mini pirate here, the Corsair. So I don't think it's that big a deal if we miss 2 damage, if we get, like, Wind Fury. So I think we just hit with the Fledgling, and the plan is the Captain and Veteran this Corsair.
I think it makes sense.
With Flappy Bird first?
Yeah, attack with Flap. Okay, Wind Fury.
Good player.
And then I'll attack again.
Attack.
Blind Shield, right?
Yeah.
I'll play these 2.
Yes.
Speak your peace.
Okay, good players.
So now they have...
Oh, we can't clear this thingy, right? Like, we don't even have top decks.
No, we can never clear it.
So what, we have to play Megazord and hit... Yeah, we have to play Megazord and hit the Captain, right? Next turn go Righteous and Blessing on it.
Guess so.
Yeah, I agree.
The line there is...
It's good. Yeah.
I mean, they high rolled the Vicious like twice, right? It's just... gonna get us sometimes.
Alright, what do we queue?
Hold up.
We're not winning this one.
Hold up. Hold up. Righteous Blessing is gonna get there, man. That's
a Flappy Bird, right? So we can kill the 5/4 for free?
What? I think we hit face twice when we trade the 2 minions.
No, we want more minions. They clearly don't have consequence.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, I actually like that.
Sure.
But do we want to Prince tap first? Anything like Soulfire?
Yeah, I think that's better than Crystal Weaver. So I think we start with Keleseth. Tap. Yep.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think so.
Soulfire is...
Truth is found in death.
On point for Tempo Storm. I like the reads, I like the plays, and I like tapping here, even for that Soulfire. I think the Soulfire would deviate them. But in this spot, I don't think Complexity's coming back.
Whew. Definitely not.
Ooh, 3 health.
3 health's really juicy. Because
go.
They want to trade into the 5/4, right? So, gives more survivability to the Fledgling. And how many times have people have seen this Vicious Fledgling running away with the game? And it had to do with Tempo Storm setting up a potential blowout, and then Complexity just not really having much to do. There was one line that was pretty interesting where Admirable was talking to me during the break, or during the listen-in, of coining out the Mega Sword, but even then that wouldn't have changed anything because of Divine Shield.
Yeah. I also like them holding the Mega Sword but using the True Silver instead, because Tempo Storm thought about that one turn for the Soulfire. So to Complexity, it makes them perceive that Soulfire's there, but they're just doing their math here. It is definitely lethal with Spellbreaker, but they're trying to see, can we not show Spellbreaker and still win this game?
I don't know if they can.
They'd have to get a benefit from the
Vicious Fledgling.
But what can Complexity do to actually claw back from this spot? That's what I'm thinking.
Well, they're laughing about it. I think Spellbreaker is the way. Wow.
If you draw for Soulfire, you do conserve that information sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. They just discard the card that you were going to try to hide anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it works.
Let's listen in and see if they can figure it out here.
I think you just don't show it. There's no reason to.
Okay.
Mako Omega.
Okay, good player, Trump. Good player.
Oh my god. Oh, I gave it away.
Yeah, Trump was saying, I think I gave it away anyways by pointing directly at that 5/5 Divine Shield taunt minion. But regardless of it, Tempo Storm is up 2-1 and things are holding serve for now. At this point, this is usually the point of the series where Tempo Storm actually has crumbled. They've actually gotten early leads very often, but then like lost 4 in a row to a Warlock deck, for example, or lost 3 in a row to a Paladin. And so we've gotten to this point very safely several times, but Complexity, I expect a big charge out of them soon.
Well, they do have Hunter in the lineup.
Yeah, you're right.
That could just be one of those decks that doesn't perform if your matchup doesn't get set up the way you want it to. I mean, this may be a deck that's looking to trade all of a sudden instead of a deck that's looking to close. Picking a sweeper deck is a facet of a last year's standing match that is quite this long. You want to get past the spot where your opponent has strong matchups to counter queue against something and hope that that deck takes its 3 advantageous matchups. Hunter is a lot harder to find those with, but they certainly exist.
It's a sniper deck in this format. It's specifically to counter certain things, different styles. Who knows? Maybe they even have Flare or other specific tech cards. We're talking about crabs or Galactic Crawlers.
Maybe they just found a Unicorn Hunter.
Maybe just a good hunter. Maybe.
I really hope there's a Unicorn Beast.
You know what?
In the next set.
I mean, the true like sniper deck, in my opinion, is fill it out with like 10 tech cards, and then, or actually no, you can't do that. Fill it out with like Flare and a bunch of stuff with like tracking, and then just Do Barnes and Yashiraj.
I mean, that is almost what
She's your opponent.
What Luminosity did in Season 1, where they had a Hunter with 2 flares at the end of the series, specifically to beat Warlock, because it was a face Hunter, and then to beat Freeze Mage, because you had the flares in there. And honestly, their game plan was quite good. It's just that the deck was very fragile, and I think they mismulliganed in the final game that they ended up having. But if they'd have won that game, I think they win the set versus that Reno Warlock.
Well, the Warlock has been very powerful for a lot of teams, except for Virtus Pro. CompLexity hasn't really done much with Warlock themselves, but for the most part has been a very powerful class, which is surprising given that a lot of people peg, you know, Druid, Priest, and Rogue as like the top 3, and then if you go beyond that, people are looking at Paladin, you know, and Mage even, but they don't really look at Warlock being one of those really heavy classes. A lot of people even kind of make fun of Warlock.
But, I mean, prior to
the
Zoo iterations really coming to light, I do think Warlock was more of a niche deck, and since it's found a strong aggressive archetype, that makes it so much better. It took time to realize that the aggressive decks right now are not just about flood the board as quickly as possible and then take advantage of it with buffs. A lot of it has to do with stepping your way up the curve, which is just something that we never really had in Hearthstone prior to this. Bone Bear changed the way that we had to look at minions because it was such a strong payoff card. Before it was Direwolf Alpha and Defender of Argus to fight your opponent's other 1-drops, because once you got that turn 7 territory, this deck was more 1 and 2 drops. You know, that's really where things started to change, is when we started to see those stronger late game minions offer that big payoff potential.
Well, speaking of big payoff potential, another Vicious Fledgling comes into Temperstorm's hand. They mulliganed fully for a completely different set of cards, and CompLexity kept everything because they have everything that they want. Let's go ahead and listen into the teams to get this game started.
Most of Control Warlock only run 1 copy of Shadow Bolt, I think.
Right, unfortunately we don't have anything on turn 1 that can contest that thing. I mean...
just Imp, I think. Most likely they're going to tap next turn.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, I guess I agree.
What do you think, Sam?
I'm thinking about it a bit.
Simp is pretty good in our hand, but we gotta get started somehow.
They play Malkazarians. They can coil, which they can't tab anymore, or they can just bump in and tab. If they bump in, we have a way to kill it and play Fletchling on empty board.
No, I think it's okay.
Yep, alright, playing him.
Oh, they definitely kept coil though, right? Like, it's pretty guaranteed with a full keep.
Bump, right?
Yep. Let's think about the bump, but yeah, we should bump, right? Otherwise he buffs to his veteran.
I like bumping a lot.
I like bumping a lot too.
Cool, that's the bump, which means if we coin Fledgling, they can only Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, I like it.
I actually think we play it.
The Fledgling? Yeah.
Yeah. And then if they play Stonehill, we just Soulfire and go face, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sure.
I mean, I assume they can't kill this Fletchling.
Oh,
Most
they
of
definitely
them will
can
only
kill
play
it.
1 Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, we just played Tag Reaper. This is like one of the reasons why I also thought Tag Reaper like would be super strong.
Okay, I don't want to jinx it, but it's only Patch's Soulfire that does it for them.
Well, you just jinxed it. No, it's whatever happens, happens, right? Not like we can control that, but it's at least a good spot, this one.
Yep.
Like, this is why I don't think Fletchling is that great.
No way.
Tyler, you didn't jinx it. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We might still be fine, so maybe. Let's see what he gets. Divine Shield held. Huh. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
Tap Golaka, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, makes sense.
We should still be fine, like with all the Hellfires and the Defiles, like they're running out of steam.
Okay. Oh, Flappy Bird, give us Wind
Let's
Fury.
go first.
Well, just saying, there's the possibility of veteraning and then.
We don't. Yeah, no.
Just presenting the option. I'll agree. Alright, Wind Fury.
Ooh.
Do you want a veteran trade now? No?
No.
No.
Okay. Health, attack, or taunt? Again. Health?
It's definitely health, yeah. Nothing else is great.
And then we're playing 4 mana 5 for you.
Yeah, I think that's just good.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
You Coil Hellfire this. Right?
Called Vicious?
Yeah. And then just straight Hellfire. They have a 5-1. And we should be able to stabilize with Defile and Hellfires.
Yeah, the 5-4 though. I agree though. I think it's Coil the 3-6, then Hellfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Such a high roll. God damn it.
Ooh, that sucks.
Oh. Huh.
Imagine we play Doomguard though.
Yeah, definitely. It's
try
bad to be true, but hey.
Yeah.
Be done.
This is tough.
I think you just.
It's just Siphon.
It's just Siphon, yeah.
Yeah,
set up
it's
the
just.
file. Well.
And patches. I'm gonna tap. Oh, I'm a good player, guys.
Oh my god, Trump! Trump, please teach me Hearthstone.
Well, the first thing is putting Firefly in your Zulok deck.
Okay.
What in the world did you...
Wow, 3-1 lead for Tempo Storm. Vicious Fledgling is running amok in this matchup. Divine Shield into health forces CompLexity into a very awkward position as they try to recover with a Mortal Coil to clear Divine Shield, trade in their minion, and then Hellfire to leave a 5-1 around. That is not the game plan they envisioned going to the spot.
Yeah, Tempo Storm's fortune has really reversed in the previous weeks. They were always drawing patches and kind of getting like unfortunate outcomes, but it feels like for the most part they really turned the corner that game.
Yeah, it really Warlock is such a powerful deck, and it's illustrating why here now with a 3-1 lead they've broken that parity and have a strong lead in the series.
Yeah, if you look at how the rest of the series panned out, now that they've been able to get such a commanding lead, it's going to be in a really good spot for the rest of the best of 11. And if you're asking me, I think CompLexity is about to tap out.
Yeah, I mean, still so many decks left to work with. And CompLexity, I mean, they queued up what they felt was one of their stronger matchups in a Warlock, I imagine. And this is something that we've been seeing quite often in Trinity Series, is despite the fact that they're queuing up a counter, they end up losing, a team ends up losing the match and then forced onto this back foot. Now they have to get a little bit more creative with how they want to handle things and find the spot in the matchup where they can turn that corner and really put the heat back on Tempo Storm. That is a tall order when your decks are Mage, Shaman, and Hunter to fight with. I don't think any three of these are fighting a Zoo Warlock that effectively.
Yeah, you know, the Mage deck actually has a big question mark too. We don't know what kind of builds. We've seen people play Freeze Mage. We've seen people just play Control Mage. So that also does have a pretty good fighting chance against the Warlock as well, depending on what ends up happening. But things are looking good so far. And it's all behind this guy, too. Trump, who's known to be a very big Zoo lover in general, just Warlock in general fan. But he likes playing Zoo specifically, even so much so that he made a song tribute on Yuzu.
Yeah.
Which you can go watch and can't unhear.
It's like watching Tom 60229's karaoke.
That's right, or RDU's rap.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean,
that one brought tears to my eyes.
Look, not in the way you're thinking.
And it wasn't because I was eating onions.
Yeah, I love RDU. He's a good friend of mine, but that song, RDU doing Lose Yourself felt like a 28-minute song. It's like suddenly turned into Inagata to be.
We were at China in the Shanghai Championships for spring, and RDU was like singing Lose Yourself, fresh off of losing in the round of 8 to Colento. It was heartbreaking. Like one game away, should have won 95%.
90% chance to win.
This from that point on. And he just loses in that spot. So then we go to karaoke, and RDU just goes balls to the wall, Lose Yourself. And about 2.5 minutes in, we just all turned to each other and said, well, this was actually a lot longer than we thought it was.
Yeah, specifically Dan turned to me and said that.
This is like the extended director's cut edition. Like 5 minutes in, still talking about how everyone doubts him and, how he lost XYZ of his family. It's like, geez, Eminem's been through a lot.
He certainly has.
Yeah.
Warlock versus Shaman, though. I mean, it's super key for CompLexity to be going first in this matchup, too. They need that attacker's initiative to try and seize control as quickly as possible. But if you think about the problems that crop up in this matchup, Despicable Dreadlord's definitely one of them. Any defensive measures from Tempo Storm can be another. This is a tough matchup if they don't have tempo turns to offset the Zoo lock from Tempo Storm over and over again.
You didn't even have the sunglasses when you said that.
Well, it was unintentional. The sunglasses are when you know it's intentional. Years of planning went into that.
That's right. Well, CompLexity has the Firefly and the Permafund Totem, like you mentioned. The attacker's advantage is going to be really good. But one way for Warlock to win the board back is through a Soulfire. And it's not like they have the most amazing keeps.
Ooh. Now that is going to change some stuff here, because Tempo Storm is fearing that the first Malcazar's Imp gets taken out. But if they land 2 with a Soulfire, that could be massive. Let's listen to Tempo Storm and hear how they want to plan this.
They mulligan everything, right? So we can beat Flame Tongue. We just have Soulfire anyway. And we can also beat Jade Claws. Jade Claws is a little bit worse, though. But I think Double Imp is better against Flame Tongue. So we just have an Imp to trade.
Is it really? We can always second the Imp and so far the Flame Tongue next.
Right, but then we can't kill the 1/1.
True.
Yeah. It's also better against the Murloc Totem.
Yeah, I think you playing both is just fine, right?
Alright, I'll play both.
So there's no reason not to play both.
The dream is they have nothing here. They just Totem, and then we Soulfire.
Wow.
Does it mean they want to play Soulfire or something?
No, I don't know, but
I mean, it's just Primal Fin here, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's my instinct as well.
The only question is, do we bump?
I don't want to bump. I think we want our guys to be healthy so that, so they don't.
Yeah, I think bumping only makes sense if you had Portal.
Yeah, I don't like bumping.
Sure.
I do like Primal Fin.
It's never Bloodseal Flame melee, no.
Yeah, I like Primal Fin.
Yeah. We curve out also much better this way. And if they don't have it, like, say they don't Soulfire, right? I mean...
Well, they can also Pirate here.
Yeah, sure. But...
I agree.
Also, we can get a 1-drop.
Yep.
Veteran is best 1-drop for us.
Yes.
This is
good drop.
totally worth it.
Wow, okay, double captain, yeah.
Ah.
We double trade into the 1/2?
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they have War Leader. That 1/1 should just be fine.
War leader? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's good as well. We can clear board. Do we want that?
I think we want that now.
Yeah, I think we want it.
It doesn't get that much better. And they're out of coin. They're on
Like, what else do you do?
Yeah, we definitely do.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
So Corsair first, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Don't want to get the guy that does the thing.
Trey first and portal, or does it matter?
I think it doesn't matter.
But just portal first, though.
Captain, my captain.
Yeah.
Kill the 1/2.
Yep. And next turn, if they have Jade Lightning, we just respond with Captain Voidwalker again. Yeah, looks.
Oh, we got evolved Doppelgangster.
Yeah, we just need to make it to that. So Hero Power Flame Elemental, next turn we have Hero Power Thing. And then turn after we have it.
Yeah, I think that is the line.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that is the line. Probably should have told him first to not telegraph anything.
Yeah, but it's fine.
No, looks like no Galaka. We're happy.
Alright, 1/3 easy, right?
No. No Jade Lightning.
Definitely, yeah. 1/3, no Jade Lightning. So we know there's no Claw and there's no Jade Lightning. So like Evolve, or they've got like Doppelgangster or something. Maybe even Thrall. So that's the range at the moment. They don't have the good tempo cards, good removal. They have potentially a Devolve that. So, you know,
Saiyan is on point with the reads, but something I'd like to hear a little bit more discussion from on Tempo Storm side is, well, what could they draw that changes that? Because I think this turn that this is still strongest versus Jade Lightning, but that wasn't a discussion they had. Everything else has been on point, and Saiyan has been making some fantastic reads. 2 for 3 so far.
Well, so far, Tempo Storm is going to continue to run away with the board, but the big thing is the Doppelgangster Evolve. How is that going to impact the board? Especially if they hit their average outcomes of 5-5, then that's where Tempo Storm could struggle a little bit if their Doomguard can't get past efficiently.
Look at Tyler throwing up the prayer hands like, please, 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 please.
They know. They need to have a very good outcome here.
He wants Argent Commanders, and...
They want Stark Arakoas.
Hey, Savannah Highmane works out pretty well. And the bigger thing here, too, is that Necrotic Ghoul, I believe it's called, needs to be attacked first. Every time that Tempo Storm kills a minion that isn't that center 5/3, it spawns a 2/2.
Yeah.
And that counts for the 2/2s as well. So they do have to pay heed to that card. Pretty strong outcome.
Yeah, it's a Geist.
Geist, there we
pretty
go.
Pretty cool. Pretty similar.
Summons a Ghoul. Ah, so close. My arena knowledge is lacking. Thank you, production.
Should we be tempted to silence at all instead and play Doomguard the following turn?
I think you end up silencing the 6/5 here because the Geist is easy to kill. Savannah Hyman's really not, so I think you just move in, trade that one off, go face for some damage, watch your opponent make some fairly poor trades. Doomguard.
Yeah. Assume they don't bone bury you.
Wow. That's a tough one to beat.
All right, let's tune into CompLexity, see if they can dig themselves out of this hole.
Yep.
Yep.
So we do that.
Let's taunt.
Do the thing first, so we see Totem. We want to know the Totem. Definitely. There might be some information, like healing Totem.
Does that change anything? I don't think so.
Like, it could, like, that we don't trade into the 4/5. Like, what does a 4/5 do?
It still deals the 1 per turn. How do we value trade if we don't? I don't like the value trades, how they look if we don't, but...
Like, the value trades are not even that insane.
No, they're not. Okay. I'm just thinking about... Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about this bone marrow, but guess there's nothing we can do about that.
Pretty decent. Okay, well, Doomguard tap, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Full trade, right? 5755 4364 3203.
We can't kill the healing total?
No, we can't.
Nope. It's okay. Healing
They
totem
have
is
spell power. Portal, you know.
okay.
The instant hero power was pretty scary, but yeah, it doesn't make sense to
Present the
do
other
that.
option, I guess, that you can do the 3-2 and the 1-2 into the 6-4. I think it's.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing around spell power. Maelstrom is the only thing you're playing around that way, right? We saw Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just play everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the hero power. Yeah.
There's no way we can play around. Oh!
What's the line here, though?
We are value trading everything, right? Just killing everything that we can.
So, are we bone marrying the 1-2, sending it into 2-2? Or do we want to knock off a totem, like a 0-2 totem?
Let's try and kill a totem for Maelstrom or something, right?
I think that makes sense. So, bone marrying the 1-2, sending it into the totem, and then 3-2 into the 1-2? Or no, the other way around.
Other way around.
The other way around, yes.
Yeah.
Then I should kill the 2-2, right? Or maybe I should even kill the 0.
No, just kill the totems. Definitely just kill both
Just
totems.
kill the totems.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Now the question is, which one do I veteran? If I even play it. Maybe we don't play it?
I think Maelstrom is so bad at
it's
this
fine
point.
too.
Let's go ahead and make the trades, right? Flame Inv into the 0-2, 5-6 into the 1-1. So they have 4 power on board. If they veteran, we should veteran the 3-2 if we want to play it. And I think it's okay because Maelstrom is.
So do play it on the 3-2?
Yes, play it on the 3-2.
Okay.
Speak your piece.
So now if they Maelstrom, they can clear the veteran and they can. But that's it, right? And they would have to have a second Maelstrom to be able to do that. Otherwise, it's just no good.
Right.
Yeah, we have to play everything.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we win? But we have to play everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to like draw back-to-back stuff. I don't know.
We need to think about the trades here. That's the most important part. The trades suck, man.
They really suck.
We probably have to put the Firefly and the token into his 5-5, weapon into the 4-2, and the 5-2 into also a 5-5, right?
Yeah, it's the same. Like, we clear everything but the 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Bone Marrow out and
Yeah,
what else?
just do it. It's the only way. So it actually worked out pretty well for them to do the trade, I guess. Against Lost.
It's his number one
seems
goal.
really close.
Well, I mean, life tap. This is devastating. I mean, CompLexity needs a huge draw in this spot, and this is what Tempo Storm is trying to accomplish with Zoo Warlock pretty much every single time in Shaman matchups. Is you restrict the board presence for CompLexity so that Bloodlust, Flame Tongue Totem, Evolve, etc. just become worse effects, and from that point you're taking very little damage, and your life tap is the big resource at that point.
Ooh,
Yikes!
Swing and a miss.
The worst draw in the deck.
Yeah, considering that they've already seen the patches, so this Blood Cell Corsair is just a 1-mana 1-2.
This is looking like kill the Dreadlord and hope, but your opponent lives with 2 minions and are drawing 2 cards.
Are growing, yeah, drawing 2 cards per turn. This is where Warlock's hero power outshines almost every other hero power in the game.
Yeah, it takes a deck dedicated to grinding out your opponent's resources for the entirety of the game to really nullify the effect of life tap. And taking it the full distance, that is a very difficult thing to do.
Oh man.
Anything they drew at this point. I mean, they can just draw War Golem and it looks fine.
That's awkward.
Ah! It's alright. Just play the Crystal Weaver.
Yeah, Crystal Weaver.
It's a good
Would
card.
you trade or start pressuring life total?
I'd probably still restrict here. With the Doomguard follow-up, I think it's virtually impossible for CompLexity to win the game from that spot. You know,
yeah.
it would be something hyper insane.
I think reducing, like simplifying the board state is really powerful against Shaman because then they can't leverage Flametongue Totem or things like that.
Like a weird evolve.
Yep.
You know, everything gets weaker if you keep restricting the board. There's a certain point to turn the corner, but I think both roads are probably lead to El Dorado.
They need Taunt Totem to survive. But are they really living? It's a story of missed connections. Bloodsail, Corsair, and Galaka Crawler.
Late to his meal. Yeah, I'm not seeing it here.
Thinking about any card that they can draw, if they get Taunt Totem and they get Eye of Blackpaw next turn.
The other thing too, though,
that's not enough.
If you play Galaka Crawler, does it say something to Tempo Storm about the rest of your decks? Maybe the fact that you included Galaka Crawler in the Shaman deck, could that tell them some way that you built something else? You know, oftentimes seeing one tech card in a certain deck means that a different deck is built a way to handle a specific matchup or not a specific matchup. You can bring that clarity to it.
You're probably right, but there's very little chance that I think it ends up making a difference here. I mean, Tempo Storm can just play out the board here from this position, and I think it's fine versus Fledgling Doomguard. They can even...
I think thinking about something weird here, though. Like, what did they hold? Like, I'm not ever playing around like a volcano or something weird in the spot.
Possibilities.
Oh, that'd be so crazy to see a random volcano out of nowhere.
Maybe 1 damage off of clearing as well. If Tempo Storm played everything. It looks like that's what they're talking about, honestly. I don't know. Let's listen to Tempo Storm. Let's hear what's taking them so long.
Why should we play the 3-cost minion? We can just play Doomguard.
Because I think the chances of the 3/3 mattering in our win being more important than like devolving into exactly Doomsayer.
They're going to be at 3. Like they would have to roll 3 taunts to block out all the damage. I think we just don't play it. Give up on the Valley, Trump. You never lose this way. Like.
Okay.
Right, like even if it's not for ball, right? Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Because like
I do get what you're saying. That's why I didn't do it.
Yeah. Because if they doppelgangster and like evolve 3 Ancient of Blossoms, you know, I'll give you my Trinity prize money.
There's quite a lot of taunts in 6.
And devolve is what was taking them so long. Don't devolve into Doomsayer. As fringe of an out as that is, that could have lost them that game.
It is an out possibility. There's like 80-some odd 2-drops in Hearthstone right now for Standard. You give them a chance to snatch one that they shouldn't have. And then, of course, the opposite side of it, which Trump said, well, if I were going to go on that line, what if they hit a ridiculous evolve and they hit 6 taunt minions and we need every single bit of damage to get through?
I think it's more likely the devolve happens. Much more likely. But even then, I mean, they're closing on Gul'dan. I like the play, honestly. It makes a lot of sense to not lose to a very, very low chance devolve.
Yeah, and of course, it looks silly to onlookers who are seeing both hands. Obviously, it gives you intel on both ends where you're like, well, of course they don't have it. But that's what they want to do. They want to maximize their percentages and outs. And Tempo Storm is on a tear, 4-1. This is looking like their series, but it's still too early to write them off. CompLexity has Mage and they have Hunter, and they've avoided Mage this long. So It's making me wonder what they have against it.
I don't think they have a ton against it. I think they were relying on the Rogue potentially to get the job done, or the Paladin to get the job done, but what ended up panning out is they ended up losing game 1 with Rogue, and that sent the series on this spiral that ended up benefiting Tempo Storm in this spot. They won a counter queue matchup, and then the series has just taken off from there. Right. In the first set, it looked like G2 wasn't as prepared for Mage as they could have been, and in this set, it's looking like CompLexity isn't as prepared for Zoo as they could have been.
Well, it's not even necessarily that they're unprepared for Zoo, but it's just that things have been falling against them. And remember, Zoo pulled out the life tap Soulfire win in the Warlock mirror. How important was that in order to launch them into this game state right now?
I think it was important, but I don't think it was like super important. I think that Tempo Storm was closing in on the win anyway, and that the hand for CompLexity was dwindling in that spot, and so it does wipe out some of the recovery potential. But I think that was like a win more situation with the Soulfire there. Obviously, they're down close out of resources, but anytime Blood Reaver Gul'dan gets drawn at that point, they're going to be miles ahead. In that standstill. Again, those Doom Guards crashing in and then just getting back a ton of minions for your opponent to answer. But that's been a story of both series as well, is one fortunate spot has led to a complete dominance of the series. You think about the decks that have been performing super well in Trinity, Warlock is one of them. Mage isn't really one of them. So for G2, I look at that and go, they weren't that prepared for Mage, but sometimes that happens. But in this set, CompLexity, they haven't really shown anything that fights super well versus Warlock.
Will they be able to turn to Hunter and get their first Hunter win? You can see there's only been 500 wins total in all of Trinity Series, and at best it's always been going 1 for 1. Of course, Lovely Law was able to get 2 wins total.
It was 3 actually. I think that
was it 3?
Yeah, because they won 3 with Warlock and then 3 with Hunter. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Mr. Yagut gonna come back on. Yeah, got confirmation that he's right. Nice job, Adam.
Yeah, I remember that because TJ was here.
Yeah,
I never forget anything with TJ.
That's right. He is your muse.
Yeah, he certainly is.
We're going to go to Hunter versus Warlock with Mr. Yagut on deck.
I'm curious to see it.
Yeah, I like as soon as we got into it, we just heard, begin.
Tempo Storm has one of the openings they want as well, with a 1/3 minion as opposed to the Flame Imp. In this spot, fighting against Alley Cat is super important to the matchup. Alley Cat is really one of those cards that unlocks so many possibilities for CompLexity's Hunter here.
Yeah,
but going second is a detriment. Yeah, it really is. Except
or Quest for Rogue.
Hunter Quest draw, Alley Cat, and way too buff.
Wow.
Wow, Tempo Storm keeps the Acris Veteran. I'm quite surprised by that.
I think it's a follow-up in case Hunter misses their 2-drop, and you can trade up to most things.
Like coin out a Crackling or a Scavenging Hyena. I'll be curious to see how CompLexity ends up playing with his hand. The 1 keep, I think, is quite concerning.
Do you ever feel like you should just put a guitar in the Razor Maw's hand because he's always just like riffing? He was the one playing our background music.
That card is so good.
Hunter is just so its power level is
mediocre.
Outrageous.
Yeah, it's truly outrageous. I mean, it's truly outrageous.
All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and tune into the teams.
You are not the boss of me.
We just alley cats, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like they just cut Firefly and just keep high rolling the 1-drop every game. Broad.
Oh, that might be true, actually.
Well, I thought about that already last game. I mean, we haven't seen any Fireflies mix, and they have...
No, actually, I've not.
Probably just cut it in high roll anyways. Feels good, man. I mean, Firefly isn't that powerful in the deck, so I thought about cutting it too.
What do you think they kept? Do you think they kept Companion? So they did a 3 keep, right? So if they kept 1 drop, I could see Companion being a keep.
If they have Razor Maw, they will coin Razor Maw, right?
Right.
Then they have 3 drop, probably.
Yeah, let's play Flame Imp first and just decide here. Veteran 50-50. I think you put it on the Imp. I think the roll
Which
on me...
one? Flame Imp?
One, two.
Okay.
Okay, so, right, because it's so hard for them to keep, like, Companion and 1 drop. Like, they're more likely to keep Bow and 2 drop, right? Companions...
I call that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crack-headed.
Poisonous?
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh my god, these options are really bad. Yeah, I guess Poison doesn't kill the 3-2. Or... It is still the 3-2, right?
Well, if he kills a 2-2, then they can't soul fire.
Well, they can't soul fire, they don't get a card.
No.
It's close.
I think it's a 2-2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, sure.
That's unexpectedly good.
They're scared. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. It's not bad. The Chain Gang is, like, still quite good. They have coin, they still have another keep. Okay.
That's tough.
I think it's simply tempo crackling.
That's my first instinct.
I think we need to get a good Knife Juggler in leash.
And it's not just Hero Power Pass.
Yeah, that's also something.
Like, do we need to rush that out? Like, they trade and then we just get less value off the thing?
Because, like, the thing is, like, we might coin Tundra Rhino instead, right?
I wonder.
But he's gonna trade the 3-2 and then Rhino probably doesn't trade with whatever he plays.
True.
But Knife Juggler Unleashed might just also not be strong enough next turn.
Yeah, it might.
I'm leaning towards Hero Power though, personally.
I wonder.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah, I think I like Hero Power more. Like, if he crackling, then he just trades and, I don't know, doesn't look so good.
Yeah, I think we can play it a little bit slower. A little bit.
As I always want to clear his stuff, and Serenade Trigger helps a lot to clear his stuff with Dreadlord next turn.
Sure. I'd like to take a moment, though, to think about why they thought about it so long and then decide not to play anything. So I guess one thing that would make sense is they have a Houndmaster in hand and they don't have a 1-drop beast.
They might go 1 coin Houndmaster, right? Which is why they didn't play.
Right, but I think they don't even have it, otherwise...
No, they would hold back on the 1-drop for Houndmaster. So if we play Fledgling, we can go face more, but I don't think it's that relevant. Let's play Chain Gang so we can clear the board with Dreadlord if it's Alley Cat.
Sure.
If that's the case, like, they want to play Alley Cat still, right? Because we only have 4 mana, we can't play Dreadlord. How do we clear both the Alley Cats?
Patches. If we play Captain or if we just have 1.
Right, that's true.
We didn't play anything for the 3 mana. There's a chance we're holding the 1-drop for Bow, right? So...
Yeah, them not having anything to play there just increases the chance they have Death Star, Rexar, maybe something like Unleash, maybe Unleash Hyena.
Dan, what is CompLexity doing? I don't understand.
Galaka hero power turn.
Galaka, coin, crackling, Razor Maw. Try to find 2-3 power minions in play. The Flame Imp trades off, and then you have something to fight on board.
They would have. Well, I guess they had Knife Juggler for tempo on the following turn, but they would have just been floating mana on 4 then. So they're floating mana either turn.
Here's what I'm looking at: is they're obviously aiming for the Knife Juggler Unleash play, but what minions from Tempo Storm does that play strong into? If your opponent plays Crystal Weaver and buffs the Flame Imp, you're in bad situation. If your opponent plays Vicious Fledgling, you're in bad shape. If your opponent plays Serenite Chain Gang, you're in bad shape. Now they set the bow and don't attack. I mean, their hand is very face up right now. And for Tempo Storm, I think this is easy Doomguard and go in.
Yeah, like Blood Reaver Golden might not matter because it's 5 turns away.
They're playing so much for value, and part of the value that Hunter gets is in taking the board. Where do they take the board from this position?
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree with
it's
you.
4 juggles. Like, that's not a lot. Even the Dreadlord, I think, is fine. Just put something in play. Zoo doesn't flood with 1/2s and 2/1s and 2/2s anymore. It's just move up the curve with big stuff. They're dead.
Yeah, I think they effectively passed too many turns in a row. They passed turn 3, passed turn 4. They've held the coin for so long.
I remember years ago at Fight Night when Artosis was playing Priest. And rather than sacrifice an injured Blade Master to try to take the board, he played for value. And then he quickly died after that. You got to get stuff in play and fight.
Tale for all.
You got to get minions in play and fight. I think this game plan from CompLexity was foiled from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think it's necessarily even Hunter's fault here. I think it's just they probably played way too off the cuff here.
They might not have won this game anyway, but they would have drawn Eagle Horn Bow the next turn. And then suddenly their play would have looked fine.
I don't think you can blame the draw on the next turn, though. But you're more than likely to hit something nice on the curve for the following turn.
And now they're unleashing into the Despicable Dreadlord turn. So very nice hits off of that, but...
Yeah, that works out great. Wow, look at that.
Great isn't really the term I'm looking for, but it worked out a lot better than it should have.
Serenade Chain Gang. Let's go ahead and tune in again and see if Templar can close this one out.
And then we're sad if they have a beast plus kill command, right?
I'm thinking about Chengan here. And I'm also thinking about Chengan Go Face.
No, we don't leave Juggler up. So Doomguard, if we go Doomguard and we don't discard Vicious Fledgling, we full mana plays next turn. And we don't care about Blood Reaver too much. I think it's okay. Like, Chain Gang tap seems pretty weak already.
My initial instinct was Gang, but I'm on board with the Doomguard trade play.
Okay, agreed?
Yeah, Doomguard trade Juggler. Sounds good.
Yeah. We just want to keep Fledgling, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have Fledgling. But we also...
Oh, okay.
Shit.
So you're dead to another Doomguard or so fire if he don't kill
it's definitely Rhino Crackling and see what you get.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Well, Poisonous is pretty good. We could also go for health.
Shield or health.
Divine Shield is better, right? Because you take less.
You want to
Divine Shield the Tindril and you put the 2 minions into the Doomguard and you weapon the 3/2. Then we have a 2/5 Rhino surviving.
Yeah, I like that more. That's the good line. I was thinking about the line where we just killed the 3/2 and left up and went face with our 3/2 and value traded the Rhino. But this is better. This is better, I think. Like,
no, tap into Doomguard.
Probably buff Flame Imp. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Wait, do we hold it? If we draw Bone
I
Ring?
don't think we have that on board.
I think we should play it.
More.
How do you supposed to kill this 2/5?
Yeah,
Sure.
we definitely play this thing. All right.
Speak your peace.
Can't, right? Ooh, that's good, right? Like red pack.
Red pack Hound Muscle?
So you red pack first.
But how do we trade?
The red pack goes into the 4-2 every time. Because that's the biggest one.
No. You could also do red pack, buff it, and then trade that into the fledgling. Is another option.
But don't we want the charging?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I like it. I like full clearing like that. No.
Wait, what?
Maybe it's the same. It's the same.
Is it the same?
It's the same. Yeah. Fine.
No, like we waste a lot of damage now.
No, it's the same. All of
No,
red pack.
because we could have had.
No, it's the
same. Could have had a 2-2.
Wait, how do we trade now?
Now you can trade the 4-4 into the Flame Imp.
Yeah.
Wait, how else do you guys want it?
Like you. Oh wait, you get a lot of red packs. You're right.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Okay, I'm retarded here. Sorry.
I like trading.
So trade 1-1.
Yeah, we don't want this Soulfire, right? Yeah.
Wait, what are you guys thinking about?
No. You could also just trade into the 3-2 first, and then Master 1-1 pleb, right?
It was actually the same.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Like it's the same.
I forgot that you get 4 plebs.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something like Doomguard, tap Soulfire.
We're good.
2-4-8.
Oh, that's...
Wow.
Perhaps.
I guess technically we didn't have to show, but the thingy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's like a big... I mean, it's not... I mean, you don't play Hundo without that stuff.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So...
They were planning on queuing Murlocs into it.
Hunter gets a win, and Admirable, I will tell you something that someone told me not too long ago. I hold him into high regard. He said, this game plan was foiled from the beginning. Even went as far as to say, CompLexity, what are you doing?
I still don't know.
I don't remember who told me, but it's just, yeah.
Look, I'm eating my words here. They stuck Tundra Rhino, and that was a carry for them. I think Tempo Storm should have played the Doomguard on 5. You just hit him in the face. They can't clear it almost no matter what. You hit him in the face, they go to 5.
I was fine with that.
You keep him under pressure is what you do. Instead, they went for the Dreadlord and went for a value play. Now, that being said, CompLexity doesn't have a read into that. I think that Doomguard is a card they pretty much chalked up to a tough card to beat at that point. And for Tempo Storm, the Unleash and Juggler hold against them ended up clearing their entire board, and then Tundra Rhino was never cleared off.
Well, they needed that specific Juggles to hit in a specific way, too.
So I have to give my props to CompLexity there. They ended up winning the game, but yes, they did need the Juggles to pan out in a certain way, too. Granted, there's a very high chance to juggle properly. It doesn't really matter too much where the Juggles land. They end up with a full clear as long as the Juggles don't go face.
Right, but even if they did, and Tempo Storm had played the Doomguard, they got extra damage, and I think they won the game.
Doomguard would have dealt 10 damage.
At least.
There was no way to clear off the Doomguard and the rest of the minions.
Right. With
a Juggler Unleash. That would have been an impossibility.
Right, and but then it becomes a different game of like what cards would they have discarded, what cards they would play from that point on. But point notwithstanding, I think Tempo Storm had a very strong chance to close out that game. And now the series has been given new life. 4-2. I mean, Tempo Storm hasn't run away with the series at all. But if they can't win from this position, then by all means, they don't deserve to even be in the top 4 teams. Come on, I mean, they're up 4-1 up against Hunter from CompLexity. Basically, as good as it can get, and they have all the time in the world right now to secure a series victory.
I'm just mad that I was wrong.
Yeah, well, you're mad a lot.
That's true. I mean, anger is my spirit animal. Got to give it well played to CompLexity, though. Well, I apologize.
They can add to they can counter the Hunter, and they have what 4 classes remaining. So just pick any of the 4. Right? There you are.
Dan has just been ragging on Hunter the whole time.
I've tried to make Hunter work a lot. In fact, Deathstalker Rexar is a dear friend of mine.
Yeah, I think that card is the reason that Hunter oftentimes has not been working.
Deathstalker Rexar?
The deck just...
Are you kidding me?
It doesn't have the surrounding stuff for it. I mean, that card can carry a game by itself, but the nature of Hunter Hero Power and the nature of its cards that it wants to snowball the game early.
The Death Knights are all nuts in their own regard. Like,
agreed.
Even the worst... What's the worst Death Knight?
Deathstalker Rexar, I think.
No, not even close.
Do you mean just like in a vacuum?
Yeah.
Oh, probably the Warrior one in a vacuum.
Yeah, probably the Warrior one, but it's still pretty good.
Oh, it's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, but the reason it's good is because of the surrounding cards. You have Sleep with the Fishes, you have Brawls, you have so many ways to set up the Whirlwind plus the Axe. I mean, evaluating cards in a vacuum doesn't do any good. You have to evaluate them in context. Like, for instance, is Blood Reaver Gul'dan good without demons? Fire Red, I still think so.
But I'm contextualizing in the sense that I think Hunter is bad in spite of Deathstalker Rexar being good.
Yeah,
kind of similar to how like there's definitely really good cards in Warlock for the previous expansion, even though Warlock was unplayed in Ngoro.
Right, and that's sort of what I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
Is like Deathstalker Rexar has been just an addition to a lot of the Hunter decks, and it doesn't really fit the game plan right now. And it's hard to find a game plan that fits with Deathstalker Rexar. It's a fairly fringe card that needs a very specific style of board state to function well.
I mean, against certain classes, I keep Deathstalker Rexar in my opening hand, like Priest or something.
You used to keep Doomhammer in your opening hand. You were way ahead of the curve.
Just because I want to be able to generate those threats, and I often make 4 attack, high health minions against Priest. Anyways, whatever. We already got our points across. Let's focus back onto Hunter versus Rogue, and this is kind of the opening hand that you want as the Rogue to make sure Hunter doesn't run away with the lead and blow you out. And CompLexity is sitting on an okay amount of early game, but Tempo Storm's got a lot of those really feisty and juicy tools. And we did see a counterfeit coin in the deck.
Yeah, and that's a big power spike a lot of times for Tempo Storm. CompLexity, they'll account for that, but oftentimes that's one of your big oversights is accounting for counterfeit coin. It's a very difficult thing to do. And so for CompLexity, they're hoping their game plan finds, again, one of those big tempo plays. But given what I saw last match, I'm not sure. Maybe they're looking for bigger swing turns and then trying to play for value afterwards. I mean, that is literally how they won last game.
A little bit of an awkward tracking considering that all these cards look good to a certain extent.
It's quite hard to play from this stage. They were hoping for 2 weak cards and then Houndmaster.
One obvious one.
Yeah.
If you're going to set up Beasts, Hyena seems to be the best if you can have Kindly Grandmother because it's sticking onto the board.
I agree with
that. That's probably my initial thoughts. Seems like they agree.
For Tempo Storm, it's hard to just play a Pirate on turn 1. The fear of Galaka Crawler is a very real thing. So for CompLexity, they often get Kindly Grandmother down and then have an option to trade with it afterwards. And that's, I think, why they take the Scavenging Hyena here. If not that, somewhere down the line, they're going to need to stick a Beast and get the value from the Hyena. So their game plan is pretty spelled out, I'd say.
It is a Tech Tout Hunter with Hungry Crab. Oh my.
Yeah, even the 1/2 Beast is reasonable in Hunter. It just offers you a target for Crackling Razor Maul. Sometimes you run into Murlocs and you eat them and you're good. Oh my. Look at the face from Just Saying too as he draws that Prince Kaliseth like, hey, well, yeah, no. I mean, sometimes.
I think this is the first time we've seen Prince Kaliseth being drawn onto all day so far. But then again, we haven't seen too much.
There's no
they
pirates.
Went nuts on the tech. Jeez. Double Crab. Double Crawlers.
And I think this is how Hunter's got to be. You need to just land these tech cards in that spot. Leok would be great.
They've been molded by the hate. All these hate cards coming into Hunter.
I told you, anger's my spirit animal.
Oh, so you play Hunter a lot.
Cause.
Let's tune into the teams and see what they're chatting about.
Oh, I'm thinking backstab SI.
But do we bump you in the 1/1?
I think I'll leave the 1/1 here.
This guy's toast.
I don't think it's a good reason. It's just Houndmaster, right? And even we have game against Houndmaster anyway.
We don't lose too much.
Wait, maybe I like the trade now that you mentioned it. Because it is better than Houndmaster.
We don't lose to other stuff than Houndmaster.
I mean, they can probably trade, right? If they probably trade 2/2, it's still fine.
Yeah, and then
about it though. No, I wanna.
You think about it really long, and you play the left Galaka and play the Hyena, and you trade into the 3/3.
Is the Hungry Cap much worse?
Yeah, because like it gets a free value trade. The other ones all contest like at least the 2
But
minions.
doesn't he take that into the 3/2?
Yeah, so he bumps the 3/3 into the 3/2.
No, that goes into Hyena.
Into Hyena, and then he has a 2/2 that goes into or 3-2, and then we have a 2-3 Golak on board, and we go. Yeah, it's the play.
Yeah, I agree too.
And then we go right
like
on.
The thing is that they don't even have to play pirates, right? They can just slay and stuff.
That's
No.
wow.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Wait, do they have another one? Is this why they made the play?
No, I think it's because
This is
they may or
just
may
too
not.
good, right?
They have to.
The Trinity patch is just too good, but I kind of want to use the both coin to play another guy too,
Yeah, and SI
just for the tempo.
for sure. SI
So
hits the
double freeze.
3 too, but first patches trades into the hyena.
This trades here.
Sure. Yeah, that's actually better.
So
I
we
like
get
the coin thing. We'll probably only punish if we draw a wild spell next turn. But it's not really that punish because we can always just tempo Scalebound. I want to have a stronger board here, to be honest.
Yeah, I know we are kind of afraid of Unleash, but I think this is still right.
Yeah.
I only have 3 cards left, and they use one of the Unleash enabler.
It has to be like Juggler Unleash, exactly, right? So he gets 4, we have a board of 7, 10 health, so he can't clear everything. We can always contest the Juggler after the Unleash.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the 1-2 doesn't even do anything.
Yeah, we probably just hold it in hero power, right?
Yeah.
It softens up the board, like the 2-2 goes into, so it softens up the board.
I wonder.
So yeah, hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Is it a double trade?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even despite Master, right? I don't think they have it, but it's close. What do we have?
CompLexity kind of floundering a little bit. They have Savannah Highmane on 6, but there's a lot of punish coming the other direction now.
Yeah, the Highmane is quite powerful, though. This offers them the potential to land that Tundra Rhino in the right spot, but they are under a lot of heat now that Cold Blood gets picked up as well. Tempo Storm has heaps of damage. I mean, this is 15, 16 damage this turn from Tempo Storm.
I find it hard to turn it down.
I am not turning that down.
Plus the additional benefit of the Cold Block Scale Bait for another turn.
Yeah, so here's like a good perspective of when to really get aggressive against your opponent. CompLexity didn't deal with a priority minion, a 6-3 and a 5-5. Tempo Storm has a way to reinforce that position with the Tar Creeper and a way to push extra damage. Perfect time to get aggressive.
So many options.
Now they should take their time to give CompLexity the illusion that they have an option rather than just a Lich King in their hand. But this 15 damage is uncontested, and it's likely to be so in the following turn as well.
Well, 16 if you dagger.
Choose soon.
Put your opponent down to 7, so the Leroy's the least lethal. Assuming that your opponent even clears the board. Interesting.
This is a direct nod to Tundra Rhino. And I am somewhat shocked by that. That is a lot of damage to put into minions. Holy smokes.
They want to guarantee it on the Tar Creeper, and then Tundra Rhino can't get through anymore.
Well, the thing is, this also prevents like Tundra Rhino and then crashing the 6-5 to the Tar Creeper and then use the 2-2s to run over stuff. But I mean, that is so much damage to pass up.
If that's a poisonous or +3 attack, they're back in this game. Let's tune in and listen to how this is going to shape up.
So it's either a 2-2 beast or 2 1-1s, right? So Divine Shield is better. The question is if we even Rhino then. We still do though, right? Oh.
Isn't it better to take the 1-1s and then just hero power double crap, save the Rhino? In case we draw like Red Pack or Companion. But the Rhino doesn't do anything on board. Unless we trade it in. And do we ever win
so Death File?
I think it's that, or they'll play the 2 craps, hero power, and then
sure.
And then pray.
Oh man, it would have been so good if we hit poisonous or 3 damage.
Yeah, or
it's so great.
Don't trade. Just hold.
Yeah.
I think it's time we can do like Valspine and put.
Yeah, I think the Valspine is the one that gets the combo and hits the too.
Okay, so we are cold-blooding the...
Yeah, probably the skill bin.
Yeah.
And any merits of killing things right now. Let's say they have Unleash the Hounds. It doesn't do anything for us, right?
It doesn't do anything when it's not playing around that if we clear.
Yeah, face.
So
Yeah. Like his dead next turn. We don't
swinging
need to
doesn't
play.
matter. I want to save the charge for the Lich King.
Yeah, sure. Good.
Yeah.
One con.
Weird that.
Yeah, that does absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Okay, it was actually like got pretty close, right? Like if we
Yeah.
hit that one, I think.
Yeah, that was like the turn. The turn. Header.
Okay.
Tempo Storm 1 game away from closing out the series as they take down the Hunter, which I gotta say was another little unusual game there with how much trading was going on back and forth. I expected a lot more, Tempo, you know, like fighting for more aggression onto the board, but it seemed like they played a little bit more value-oriented, playing around certain things.
I'm curious how much of that is because of Lich King as well. I think without the security of Lich King, Tempo Storm might have been more apt to push damage in that spot.
Sure.
And I think that safety was a really big nod to why they chose to play defensively. I still would have favored the face damage in that spot, but I could see what they were playing around. I mean, Tundra Rhino with the Savannah Jaime does represent a lot of damage crashing at a board, but mind you, the Scalebane's still going to be at 5/5 if they leave the Savannah Jaime up. If the Tar Creeper doesn't get the buff, which is a 50-50 chance, then the Savannah Jaime lives when it attacks into the Tundra Rhino. They don't get the benefit of the extra 2 hyenas in that spot. Tough to say.
Well, right now these are the current standings of the teams, and I think they've been updated to reflect their current scores. As right now, Tempo Storm is still 22-30, so even if they get this 23-30 score, they're still very far behind, but they've made up some very valuable ground on Planet Odd and Virtus Pro. And then CompLexity, even though they're moving up somewhat in the standings, they still need to get the series win here. It's looking unlikely. With the defeat here, they do fall to the bottom half of the bracket. I mean,
Mage has got to put up 4 straight wins, and this is night and day for how CompLexity season started. They started out very well, and now they've been slowly moving towards the middle, and if they lose this set, then they're slowly working towards the bottom of that standings, and this is not the performance CompLexity was looking for this season.
Certainly not. Although Mage earlier today was doing very well. However, it does feel like in Trinity, if it's not going to go even and it has one deck to dominate, it usually varies from series to series. Like, okay, this time it's Warlock, this time it's Paladin, this time it's Mage. Oh, Rogue just managed to rattle off 3 in a row.
Yeah. I mean,
it's very rare to see it otherwise.
Except for on the Halloween week, where it was Warlock all day, every day, had 2 sweeps with 2 different archetypes that week.
That was nuts. Well, CompLexity, Mage against Rogue is definitely at least what you want, right?
Yeah, I think this is a reasonable matchup for CompLexity, but again, they got to win 4 straight games with Mage. And while that happened in our last series, it's very unlikely that that's the case. I mean, typically Mage is good at beating one deck and it has a chance versus the second. Getting through all 4 is a rare circumstance for any deck, really. Just happy to be seeing it.
How CompLexity's win rates have fared across the field. I feel like Druid and Priest win percentage should somewhat be ignored, considering that they are banned most of the time, and if they are allowed through, there's heavy targeting to ensure that they don't run away with the game.
Yeah, it's been fairly few games, like a handful of games that Druid and Priest have actually gotten through in sets. It just requires so much of your deck in order to counterplay it that players have just tended to ban it rather than recognize it. That is a good-looking opening hand for CompLexity, though.
Well, they have Arcanologist, and I guess you could consider keeping the removal spells, would you really keep Ice Block because you already have Arcanologist in hand?
Well, I'm just looking at the Frostbolt and the Arcanologist. Okay. Those two get you on the ground running. I am curious about the Frostbolt, though. I have heard teams say that or players rather, that they want to mulligan Frostbolt in search of key counterplay. But I personally really like killing South Sea Captain or killing an SI7 agent. I think if you just keep parity on board, you're usually in fairly good shape.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, too. I think Fireball is very luxurious. I think you'd rather have better curve, card draw.
Yeah, and here they're mulliganing the Frostbolt as well. I mean, the Frostbolt's good at almost every step of the game, but your minions are only good in the early stages. And wow, what a hand they pick up. Primordial Glyph is super strong versus Rogue as well, because in order to keep up with the tempo, oftentimes you need that cheaper removal spell to offset a turn from Tempo Storm's Rogue in this spot. Their mulligan panned out wonderfully, pitching away that Frostbolt.
Yeah, Tempostorm picked up the Arcane Intellect, which allows him something to do on turn 3. Turn 2, you are daggering most of the time anyways, unless you pick up Prince Keliseth.
Oh my.
Oh.
We got a game here.
Well, I mean, it's still very much mage dominated. So
it definitely is, but Keliseth helps offset that balance, where now Frostbolt isn't killing South Sea Captain directly. It isn't killing SI7 agent. CompLexity, they're against the ropes. Let's hear how they think about the rest of this game.
Anymore?
Yes, that's a good thing.
Gonna play the other one?
Yeah.
An incredible discovery.
Someday.
And today's that day.
We don't have to worry about Nova Doom for a long, long time, right?
Yeah, I want to push damage here. I don't want to Arcane Intellect.
Yes, I think we go backstep too, right? Because we can kill Doom even if they play it.
I think we play around Volcanic. You don't play Saucy? You play Saucy here, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. If they have Volcanic,
we'll push it.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I think they're playing Secret this turn most of the time, right? That's okay. And we can, even if we get board cleared, we can just AI. And our turn 4 is generally weak, so we can just AI turn 4 into a decent 5. Ooh. Top. Okay.
It makes sense to play like that.
AI versus Tark Reaper. I think I want to play Tark Reaper or AI because finding 5 is more important than the Tark Reaper.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That was actually it's pretty close. Ooh, that's good.
Okay.
Alright, play down. Save the token for Boss Bind. Everything else is just set. And we don't need to swing yet because it's the last charge, so we're not wasting anything if we redagger next.
I think it's Glyph Thomas.
It's never Arcane Intellect?
Like, what do you want to draw into? Because Arcane Intellect gets you 2 cards deep in your deck.
But I don't want to intellect. Like, I think either we take the turn to set up the block or we do the Glyph Thalnos. I like the Glyph with the Thalnos personally.
I think it's Glyph.
Okay.
Because like we also get 1 card deeper and we get to get discounted spell.
That's really good, right?
Yep.
The Meteor next turn if he plays the Dragon.
Yeah, it's always that one.
We still play Thalnos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need Thalnos.
And we want to cycle it. Like it's not even that we don't need it. We actually need the card from it, probably.
So we can play double Tark Reaper here. And then we have 1-drop Boss Bind Slayer. Next turn to...
I think it's good.
Is that even better than just Stagger?
I don't think the Tark Reaper is really practice, right?
We don't need Dagger to clear his stuff, actually. And Tark Reaper is like 2 attack, is more damage than...
Yeah, just 2 a turn. Okay, yeah, we can coin it.
Yeah, I'm not really afraid of too much. I think it's okay.
I guess the one downside... I mean, obviously if we had Bone Mirror, we'd not have done it, but the downside is we could draw Bone Mirror or Lich King.
True. Lich King in like a turn.
I imagine if it was a 1/5 Tark Reaper, it wouldn't be worth coining it out, right?
No. But the
2/6 is gonna...
tempting, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
they can mess with the meteor positioning. Like, don't we just?
Oh, do you want to relay the 2-3?
Yeah,
because like if you relay the 2-3, it's really weak, right? Then our meteor just becomes weaker and weaker.
But the.
What to do?
Like, isn't meteor now and then
meteor, these guys kind of like I want to hit something better. I also curve out better if I do it.
They have a 1-2 elemental, and the left card is probably Bone Mare, by the way.
I really think it's meteor now, and then just block Valet next turn and clear it. You take so much pressure off the board now.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's my fault. Firefly into...
They want Firefly for combo.
Well, maybe it's worth keeping both for 2 combos.
But we want more damage.
Yeah, we will draw stuff for combo eventually. Because we're getting more and more mana.
Yeah, I think
we need to.
Well, suppose we Bone Mare is also a card that requires a combo. So we'd have the 2 Bone Mares and the Slayers, with the 1 Slayer which wants us to keep it, as well as the Edwin. But I mean, you get to make your decision there. I'm just presenting the other side, but I'm not saying it's better.
I think pressure is okay. Let's play at least 1.
Yeah, this is fine. To combo with Bone Mare, and Edwin is only 1 card.
So,
I think so.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, and then we have block Valet Glyph next turn.
I agree.
This board is kind of okay. Like if we don't play it 1-2, they have choice to just draw card and play secret and whatever, right? They don't.
Is it worth it to play the Slayer by itself here?
No, it just dies to Firelands Portal, right?
Right.
I think if we play Slayer now, we're just never really winning. I want to hold everything, just dagger.
Sure.
Slow game.
Or both.
Fireland's partner you fit's really bad against Slayer.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I think you need to set up. I don't know if Glyph now is good. Is it better to set up block and AI?
Or barrier as well. We could set up barrier.
Or barrier.
I probably like AI more.
I like AI more because I don't think we're under threat yet. Okay.
I'm gonna block.
Yeah, block.
Yep.
Man, Devil Storm losing a lot of steam here in this game.
Well, did they lose steam partly because of the meteor positioning? I mean, they lost an extra 3 health on the Tar Creeper because of that.
Ooh.
Oh! Okay, now that is a game changer. Granted, there's Flame Strike in Complexity's hand, but Anti-Magic Shell is a daunting task for Complexity at times. If they can get enough minions on board and land that bad boy, Complexity is in a heap of trouble. And that being said, they have a ton of cards to work with, so we could be far off of that.
What to do? What to do?
Well, they're going to definitely deal with this Lich King. Polymorph seems like the most reasonable option, but can they set up a way to start pushing damage themselves as well? Like if they put Mana Worm, Polymorph, that gives them 3 more mana. They have 12 damage from 2 fireballs, plus 5 from the Firelands Portal, so 17 plus 3 from the Valet, 20. Ooh, that's really close.
I mean, they are closing in, soon. So I imagine the Mana Worm is a big consideration here. They could easily get the Glyph in and try to look for, again, another big tempo swing, but I think they have found that point of safety that they really wanted. And so in this spot, they're just tempoing out the Medivh Valet to keep extra pressure so they can start delivering damage. So they forego the burn from the Medivh Valet in order to set up another threat to try to connect multiple times. Ooh, saying the head and the hands. I mean, this is a tough spot.
I mean, it looks like there's an opportunity here to make a push, but I think they're just a little bit off from what they want. Like, if they were able to play the Magic Shell onto a Vile Spine and the Flame Elemental, different game. But let's go ahead and tune in and see if Tempestorm can pull themselves out of here.
X is not the scariest thing here.
I think we can go Scalebane, Flame Elemental.
I prefer to just kill the Mana Worm here. We don't have.
I mean, I'm even considering passing, which it's all bad, so you get to choose. If you pass, you get to play the 1, 5, and 4 there.
Do whatever you want.
I'll hit the 2/2 here.
Okay, sure.
Just in case it trades.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Glyph, Portal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better to Portal first? It is if we get the red Mana Worm, right?
Is there anything that fucks us?
Not for 5. It's a 5-drop.
No.
Yeah, because you gotta
there's
look
no
at
reason
Flyra.
to Glyph first, right? Like what?
Yeah, I'm saying we should Firelance first.
Portal first, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't hide from me.
Well, it's probably a Flame Strike. A Team Flame Strike is better than an expensive Flame Strike. Or do we take Simulacrum so if we draw Alex, we can get 2 Alexes? Nah, I like Flame Strike.
Nah.
Like Simulacrum is not even good on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it costs 1, so it's like you can hit it on kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, I don't think it's very. Just, but I don't think.
Yeah. Play 3 and the 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Past the Pirate's Cove. You are not welcome here.
Okay. We have no minions for Bone there. Kind of awkward.
Yeah, I like Worm Flame Strike Bolt.
yep. And hit him.
Yeah, it's hard to say in what denominations they have it, but. So we can have a 6/6 that can't be targeted. That forced them to trade. Otherwise, we're gonna die.
Yeah, we need to jump on there next turn to win. So, agreed. Should we have cold-blooded it first? Probably not, right?
Nah, I think they're already gonna try to kill it. I mean, they're.
No, just 3 more.
Well, it's actually not too unlikely that we 3-0 him. Like, against Paladin and Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. It'll still be tough, but...
CompLexity takes another game here, a very critical one, if they're not going to close the series. But y'all could also point out something pretty interesting, too. I think Mage is definitely capable of doing the 3-0 against Paladin and Shaman.
Mage is capable of beating anything. Just, it's a matter of those draws. It's not super likely to beat the very aggressive matchups. In that game, we saw Tempestorm not account for the Primordial Glyph Meteor, but I don't think that game pans out much differently because of that. I think they get more damage, but...
It's super one-sided.
Yeah, the Meteors, plural, S, ended up chewing apart too much of the board. And I think that was really... You know, that's what Rogue struggles with, is when all of its minions get picked apart turn after turn after turn. It needs that sticky synergy so that way they can eventually have that one connection that amounts to a lot of damage.
Yep. Apologies. Tempestorm has their own mage, of course, to maybe counter it, but it feels like that they should still have good decks against it. Murloc Paladin puts up quite the amount of pressure, And then Mage Mirror, if it is truly a mirror, it's 50-50. So it's not like it's going to be really one-sided games. And it should put CompLexity fans in a position where they're allowed to have some rays of hope. I think it's not over yet, and they've still been playing relatively well despite that little falter in the very beginning of the series.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a mental misstep. It's not really like a... They did not make the decision to go, yeah, let's tempo the Vile Spine Slayer out. It was truly a mental misstep. In your head, you had calculated what the steps were, and place them out of order. It happens.
Yeah, with Eloise up, looks like they're going to play Murloc Paladin next to pressure the Mage, see if they can close this one out.
Now, an interesting tech card we saw was the Volcanic Potion. So Volcanic Potion can help fight off the boards going into a Gentle Megasaur turn. It's one of the few cards I think Mage has that does it. Something that was missing from CompLexity's list was Doomsayer, actually. We didn't see Doomsayer, and I don't think we saw Frost Nova. So this list has been creeping up a lot lately, too, where players don't look for that tempo swing turn. Instead, they look to just simply fight for the board position over and over again and get big swings with Meteor instead.
Yeah, Volcanic Potion seems to be necessary, especially with how much aggression, board-centric aggressive decks come out with, Bone Mare to really back it up in the mid-stage of the game. So Volcanic Potion can be really important.
Yeah, teams spend a lot of time trading over minions to prevent superior situations for the opponent, and that's where Volcanic Potion can punish that opponent. Now, Tempo Storm has that information now, so curious to see if they find a spot to actually use it as well. I mean, being able to understand that your opponent has Meteor means that you can invest in health on the board. I'm sorry, that they know they have Volcanic Potion means you can invest in health on the board sometimes to get a payoff, rather than just purely focus on attack. Sometimes you got to protect.
Sometimes you have to attack. Paladin is going to come up with the Tyrion in their deck list. We've seen some Paladins have Tyrion fade in and out, but for the most part, still a very solid pick. You also saw an infographic on your screen where Tempo Storm's the only team to have sub 50% win rate with Paladin in this league so far.
Yes, it's interesting to note Tyrion foreshadows part of Tempo Storm's deck a lot of times. The Tyrion, I don't know why I keep saying Trinity instead of Tyrion. The Tyrion often indicates that Cold Light Seer is not in this deck, and that it's more focused on the top end.
Wow.
And so seeing Bone Mare, the Cobalt Scalebane, I think is a big nod to that.
Man, the mages and their Mana Worm stars have been feisty today, to say the least. But Tempo Storm also has a very powerful opening with their Murloc War Leader behind their Vilefin Inquisitor.
Have you ever seen the full art on the Mana Worm?
I have not actually.
It's like a blood elf that has their hand out.
And the
Mana Worm is like in the palm of the hand, like floating above the palm of the hand.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess because they're not to scale. They're not to size, right? They're not scaled. Objects on the board are bigger than they appear.
Caution.
Yeah. You should write down the bottom of each card.
Make sure you look both ways first.
Literally unplayable. Blizzard! My card art is not to scale.
I mean, it looks scale to me. 1/3 is pretty big.
I demand 1,600 dust refund.
1,600 dust.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how much it costs for...
400 for Gold Common.
Gold Common?
Yeah.
400?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Well, think about how much use you're getting out of Mana Orb. It's been here for like 3 years.
Goodness gracious.
Does that really seem like a lot for a pure luxury item?
Yeah.
It's pure luxury. It has no functional difference.
It's blowing my mind for like how expensive all golden decks are. When some players are like Reynad, for example, is like, I only can play all golden decks. I'm like, geez.
Well, let's listen to the CompLexity. Hear what's going on. Maybe Tempo Storm turn's coming to a close.
So that's interesting. Coin War Leader.
Yeah, it's gotta be Coin War Leader on our side, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then what do we take out though? 2/3 or
the Mana Warp? Definitely.
But if they had Frostbolt, they would have just killed it, right? The 1/3. So if we kill off the 2/3, they can't kill our War Leader yet.
I'm thinking about killing this 2/3 too.
Yeah, it's very close.
If they have in their hand, will they play it? Will they play the wallet? So if they don't have secret in hand, how do they buff the Mana Worm?
Well, I guess even if they had a secret, it would be very tempting to play Valet just to get on the board.
I mean, the read is definitely that they don't have. I think the 2/3 is fine. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, choice.
Yeah, I like it.
Because even if they had
Which one?
2/3, 2/3. Even if they had glyph, they would glyph, so they can play the secret and the valid turn. So they would glyph on 2 mana, and then yeah. So they don't have glyph, they don't have frostball. They might have a secret, but I mean, we're very happy if they have a secret.
Come on.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you take Bender, you can trade now, but if you take Potion, you can clear on 5.
Well, I can clear next turn. Thalmos Potion. Cost 1.
Oh, yeah.
What to do? What to do?
I mean, I could also just Potion now and trade, right?
But what about just Bender trade then? Next turn you go Thanos Ping. Isn't that just
Yeah. I'm actually leaning more for
What if he
Spellbender.
plays Rock Pool? And I don't know, isn't Potion just like clearing the board? Isn't that just better than playing a spell? Are you saying like Spellbender will also be good long term?
Will be good later, like Kings and Thingy, and like we can draw into 2 of our potions. I actually really like Bender here.
Yeah, me too.
It's Bender, because like you get the free trade
I agree.
into the hoodie.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Trump first, in case Entity or something. But I don't think they're ever going to pick Entity here.
It could be just because it was a cheap spell. And then...
Well, the 1/1 face first. Let's see if it's here, maybe. Yeah, so we can go Tidecaller or Seer next turn, right? Yeah. I like it too.
Seems good.
Job's done.
Yeah, so we ping the 2/1 and play the Thalmos.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they play Kings.
Let's go!
I think they go Mega Slayer. I hope not, but...
No, they go
I
Blessing.
mean, they're also scared of counterspell, right? It's not like you...
Yeah.
You just
Oh, that's a buffed Murloc.
You just...
I think Seer in between the 1/1s is better. Scalebane on the far right.
I want to see in the far right because right now we only play around.
No, because next turn we play Scalebane. We play Scalebane on the far right next turn. So we want Seer in between.
Yeah, I like my call. That's good.
Yeah.
And hold on, it's worth mentioning that I think you trade in with the left 1/3.
The far right one, right? Because if Scalebane's there, that'll be a 1/2.
But if the volcanic potion kills it, then it'll scoot over.
But then it'll just be a 2/1. Well, it'd be the same. We would just have the 2/3 and the 1/3.
Sure, whichever.
So far right.
As a reminder, that's a it's either counterspell, block, bind, or spellbender, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, you fireball that, right?
Yeah, seems like fireball.
I agree.
Right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, don't mess up positioning like I did. I don't know if it would have cost us that game, though.
Is it better on the far left now that the far left is dead?
No, far right's still fine.
Because we're summoning guys with the button, which will appear on the far right.
We do have guys there.
I don't think the Skeleton will stay alive. Like he's going to clear at least one of the guys here.
Sure.
Ooh, Terran?
Ah.
Yeah, let's do it, right?
And then with Smorik.
No, we want to trade to play around Flame Strike.
Yeah.
But we trade off just the sheep is fine.
The sheep.
What
Sheeple.
Ungoro
That one should have gone on the left.
I mean, we're not going to probably carve out in the front.
Like you just borrow 3/3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And high roll this one. 7/8 east. Well, it's pretty good still, I guess. I mean, it's bad stats. Yeah, it's just bad, right? Bad.
stats, but they have to trade.
I'm trying to be positive, guys, but it's kind of just bad.
I mean, if they have to double trade and we Violence Portal the Tarim after, it's not the
worst. If it was a 5-5, it would be better.
I think.
What would Uther do?
All right, so a lot of action has picked up since the early game where it looked like Complexity might have been able to stabilize, but their draw after their Mana Worm has been very awkward to say the least. And I think that's kind of telling of the series. I feel like not only has Tempo Storm been able to get some favorable outcomes for stuff, but I feel like the draws have tended to favor Tempo as well. And then and Tempo Storm's like not really letting up in a lot of the pressure in games like this.
I think Complexity has had quite a decent pan out. The big thing here is just Tempo Storm. That Tarim draw was massive. They have Bone Mare to follow it up, and they have Tyrion. I mean, this is how this deck is designed, is against Mage, you pressure it every step of the way. The health efficiency that Paladin operates on is a lot of problem for Mage. Every single step of the way, the Mage is trying to offset that tempo, and health-efficient minions are what fights that really well.
Yeah, he kind of brought this up on how they should have Bone Mared.
What? That's back-to-back trades that Tempo Storm has to make, I think. Like, if you leave this up, you can be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a risk they're willing to take, especially not if they have Tyrion online. You know, Polymorph's down. I think it's giddy up the Bone Mare, go ahead and kill that Lyra, then just slowly chip away with the rest of your minions.
That's so troll. Oh my!
I say slowly, loosely, of course. I mean, it's ridiculous. And stuff like that has happened throughout Trinity Series. I'm seeing like the same style of thing repeat itself over and over again.
Right.
You know, your brain likes to find patterns, but in Trinity Series, the patterns have just been happening.
Yeah. The trend at this point.
Yeah.
They're afraid of, what, on 9 mana, there's Alexstrasza and Frostlich Jaina. The best way to set up, I mean, Frostlich Jaina, your Tyrion gets a free trade on it. Divine Shield, they don't gain any health. And then
doesn't freeze it because it doesn't get damaged.
Yeah.
Put your faith in the light.
That being said, you're pushing him to 12 as well. So Frostlich Jaina takes him to 17, 11, 12, 13, 14. The Blessing of Kings or a Rallying Blade could set lethal off in that spot too.
Oh, and by the way, that's not Ice Block being up in the secret. That's Spellbender.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they've had Spellbender online the whole time. I forgot about that. They took it early on to deliberately try to, you know, find that big swing against Tempo Storm, but they literally haven't drawn a buff.
What to do?
And even if they had, I don't even know if they would have gone that direction. Their minions are just very strong. You know, Paladin is often thought to be a deck where you chew apart its synergy and it fails to recover, but Paladin's got a lot of endgame minions as well. Tarim is just so good.
What to do?
Turned a board of nothing into suddenly 9 power. You remember when people said that Tarim wasn't going to be good?
Well, they said that upon initial impression, and then a few people started lobbying for them. I remember the first person that I remember hearing that it was going to be good was Brian Kibler. He was saying, like, oh, Tarim's going to be really good, and some people were like, it's pretty average. And people were like, it's not supposed to be a Jade killer. I don't know why I'm like an 80-year-old chain smoker.
It's not supposed to be a Jade killer.
Let me tell you, people told me, they told me that Tarim was going to kill the Jades. But let me tell you, the Jades I've seen is like nothing you ever seen before.
The Jades I've seen are like nothing you've ever seen before. You know how many Jade idols they can play in a row?
It's like 3, 4, a million of them.
3, 4 million. That sounds like a leap that I can imagine hearing.
It might as well be.
Which path to choose?
Let's go ahead and listen into the teams for these final few turns here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Scalebound on the left.
Do you want to hear power and then skill?
Don't heal power and Scalebound on the far right. But heal power doesn't really matter, right? Because he can always ping if you want. So, like, I'm not sure about that. But he only has one card left in his hand, so...
That's an interesting idea, to not press the button. Can't... We hit the...
What?
To not press your power?
Yeah, then can't Fire Blast the 1/1 if it gets buffed.
I think if his only out is Flame Strike, and he's just going to Flame Strike, and we have the weapon over 2 turns anyway.
Something worth thinking about as well.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, they always develop enough. They have 10. Even with hero power, they have like 14 damage on board. So we can never Alex next turn our own face. Can never Jaina. Do we simply not have any top decks?
Can we get something out of Glyph? No. No, this set doesn't work. Arcane Intellect into Iceblock? Into something? No.
I can't really think of anything, but I don't think we can Alex them.
No, it's just Ping Meteor. I can't think of anything either, but if there's anything, then it's this.
Now we go all in. PogChamp. Seer helps us a lot too.
1, 3, 5, 7, 10.
Like first, I guess.
And all in.
Yeah, let's just pop them out.
Wait. Don't we want to specifically target War Leader with the buff of Chump? Oh, never mind. We can't.
No, we want everything buffed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe we could play Hunter first, but we do want to buff something with Hunter. So never mind.
So Chump.
Okay.
Great.
Oh wait, I guess that was better to press the button first. Anyways, doesn't really
Keep
matter.
buffing the War Leader.
Mm-hmm.
And War Leader on the far right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we can put the Cold Light in the Rock Pool. I think you want Rock Pool. No, you want Seer? Yeah, you want Rock Pool right next to the War Leader. And then you have Seer in the middle. Yeah, that should be best.
What is
Good luck, Midge.
I probably would have even find out before the end of this match. Double thump.
What could that secret be?
Oh.
Oh, another block. LUL.
Not that it really matters that much, but we'll kill it with the 4-3, right? Instead of the 4-5. Or I guess we kill it with the weapon. Yeah, the weapon.
Well.
It doesn't matter what we hit him with.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
Hit him with the 8-7 and swing with the weapon, I think.
ever tried with my face?
Yeah, let's hit it with the face. It's not like they can do 27. Ashbringer kills the Archaeologist, I'd say.
I actually like my...
Guys, let's play faster. They're gonna start.
Okay, sure then.
I mean,
Ashbringer
the weapon goes in and we're just...
Alright, no, don't play the Inquisitor!
We don't need it.
Okay.
We super don't need it.
Okay.
Let's push the button, I guess. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Fail fish.
Yeah.
Wow, hey, we won
Easy
one.
catch! Yeah!
I was about to say, what excitement from Tempo Storm, and then finally at the end, woo!
So it's general relief, you know, and to be fair, it's also pretty late in the night for Eloise. I believe that she's playing from China, and then kind of have Trump, who's also in the middle of usually streaming time. So a lot of stress and relief all around for Tempo Storm as they improve to a 2-4 record. CompLexity falls to 3-3. A quick recap. The summary of it is Warlock being able to run away with a lot of wins in a row, rattling off 3 wins, being a huge proponent for their victory today.
Yeah, that's really been a big talking point for most teams at some point in Trinity Series is the wins that they're taking. It's one deck will run away with it. Very rarely this season have we seen the full trade-off leading to game number 11, we've been seeing one deck dominate, and then on the other side, another deck dominate. And in Season 1 of Trinity Series, Paladin was really the dominant deck. And then from there, if that wasn't the case, it was a trade back and forth in a lot of sets.
And it's a fascinating thing how well Warlock is performing specifically as well, because Warlock's been killing it, and maybe that's something to consider moving into Week 7 for all the teams. But here's the standings of how it's shaping up after the first day of Week 6.
Yeah, I mean, CompLexity, it's been a nosedive since their opening weeks here. Team Liquid sits on top right now, but a couple of teams have yet to play for Week 6 of Trinity Series. Looking at Love You Lots and Misfits, who are in the running for that first place spot.
That's right. So if you're CompLexity fans, don't worry. They're still very much in the running. They just have to win next the last week, which is actually similar to what they did in Season 1. They were on the bubble. They barely made it in on the final week. Tempo Storm, they have to hope that Planet on Verse Pro lose as well, and then they win out. And so they are also in the running, but still looking unlikely. In the meantime, we'll see if Team Love You Lots and Misfits can secure their lead, because they need to continue to win as well for Tempo Storm to go through.
Yeah, they need a miracle pan out here, as we can take a look at what happened today with Team Liquid taking that very decisive win over G2 Esports. That was step 1 for Tempo Storm, and now step 2 was beating CompLexity in fairly decisive fashion. Now they need step 3 and step 4 and so on in order to find themselves in that spot, but not mathematically eliminated yet.
Another thing that stuck out to me today was that Hunter didn't perform as bad as I thought it would. It went 1-1, which is pretty much as good as you can get. I'm being serious.
That's what makes it funny.
But in the last year standing format, you often plan for a deck to trade at the very least. And if it's able to meet expectations, maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was. Let's go ahead and welcome a member from Tempo Storm, Trump, who was able to take the victory. Trump, how you doing?
Hey. Doing great. Feels good to win.
Yeah. Now, did anything specifically go into this week's preparation that you felt helped you guys get the victory, or was it a matchup thing against CompLexity that gave you guys the edge?
Well, it did the same thing that we always do because it's worked so well in the past. And hey, it finally won.
Is that a secret thing, or are you being tongue-in-cheek right now?
No, that is actually absolutely what happened.
Oh gosh, so you're saying that you felt like you were being, things didn't go your way in the past, like you were unlucky, but then this week you still prepared very well, and then things finally went your way. Is that what you're saying?
You put it way better than I could, Dan.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure exactly if you were saying like, well, we sacrificed 3 goat lambs and danced around all night. I wasn't sure if there was some kind of thing going on. Obviously, that's an extreme example.
No voodoo rituals here. We're just playing straight up Hearthstone here.
Well, I mean, what about the voodoo ritual of the Hunter? Were you guys nervous when you saw the Hunter pick stay in the lineup?
We theorized about why that Hunter pick existed. We didn't expect it to be an anti-aggro build, but it was really cool seeing Knife Juggler in 2017.
Yeah, at least unironically, at least. Trump, talk to me a little bit about what's like working with Eloise and Saiyan on Tempo Storm, because it was interesting to see your guys' dynamic going into this season compared to what Tempo Storm brought last season.
Yeah, it's definitely a really different feel. Based off of how we did earlier, we changed it up a bit, and basically, this team is now ruled by the iron fist of Just Saiyan. So that's what we are currently doing. Not to call him a dictator. We really support him. He's carrying the team right now.
Oh, blink twice if he's holding you under duress right now, Trump. But I guess the final question is, going into week number 7, how do you feel like going into it? What's your mindset? Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you guys to perform, or do you feel like because it's a miracle shot anyways for you guys to go through the top 4 that you guys are just going to relax and take it easy?
Well, here's the good news. Here's the good thing about this format, I suppose. Even though we don't have much of a shot at the top 4, we're still incentivized to try to win that last round, because there's a break point between 7th and 8th and 5th and 6th. So we're going to bring our best next week. If we somehow miraculously slip into the top 4, then great. But we're aiming for that 5th, 6th spot.
All right, well, very respectable and very reasonable expectations. Thanks for joining us, Trump, for a couple words. Congrats on your victory, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
All right, always cordial and very professional, too. That's something we can always rely upon Trump. Well, this Trump, at least. And we can definitely see how Tempo Storm's results have continued to shape up since their very rocky start.
Yeah, it's I was going to say always well-spoken, but then he had the mishmash at the beginning of how to say, well, we played together as a team very well. Yeah,
for sure. So once again, Team Liquid is on top here. We're going to have 7 weeks of matches. Tomorrow we're going to have Love You Lots, Misfits, Planet Odd, and Virtus Pro play out the rest of week 6, and then one final week, and then the grand finals in December.
Yeah, this is
crazy.
This is a big match for a lot of the teams here because Misfits and Love You Lots have already played their set. So if both of them pick up wins, it starts to choke out that spot to be only the number 4 spot that they're vying after in some of these situations. So I don't want to say teams are rooting against them, but some teams are actively rooting against them.
Yeah, that's right. So before we close out the show, a big thank you to our partners and sponsors that make this happen. So Intel, Twitch, and ESL, thank you for helping bring this broadcast together. People love Trinity Series and Hearthstone. We love it, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. But we are wrapped up here for Trinity Series Week 6, day number 1. Make sure to tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific to find out which teams will be moving up and which moving down, because in card games, you never know how standings will. Shuffle it up.
You guys seeing this?
Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.